Brackley's average attendance so far this season has been under 600. Doesn't look like there's going to be loads of Scunthorpe fans, but there is a few of them spattered behind the goal to our left, who brought flags as well, which is good to see. But it's a big game. You know, there's prize money on the line for the Iron tonight. There's the opportunity of a good cup run, which we haven't had in any competition for far too long now. And it'll be a big confidence boost ahead of the league game away at Chorley on Saturday.
In terms of conditions, we'll get that out of the way. It looks like it's going to be dry. There's a couple of clouds above this ground, but very windy, isn't it? You can see there's trees all around the ground, and they're kind of bent over 20-odd degrees. So it's a windy old night. I don't think it's favouring any one particular half. It seems to be sweeping across the pitch, so no advantage in that respect. But yeah, they're going to have to navigate some tricky conditions tonight. If you've missed the team news, by the way, Scunthorpe make just one change to the side. That drew 0-0 with Brackley, known as the Saints, just 48 hours ago now at Glanford Park. Richie Bennett comes in for Danny Whitehall, who drops to the bench. Just to remind you, Cian Scales remains suspended, while Regan Ogle still needs a few weeks to recover from a rib injury. So just that one change then. The replay, by the way, does come too early for the likes of Alfie Beeston and Tom Pugh to recover from their respective injuries. Both, we're told, though, by the Scunthorpe coaching team, are set to return to training later in the week, and they could be available for that league trip to Chorley on Saturday. 3 o'clock kickoff. Live commentary here, of course, on BBC Radio Humberside for North Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire. And you've probably seen this advertised on various social media platforms over the last 24 hours. Either Canvey Island or Braintree Town await the winners. I can tell you, Canvey Island and Braintree kick off at 7:45, like we do here, just 4 minutes away then until kick-off. Canvey Island in the Isthmian League Premier Division, and Braintree Town more the level Scunthorpe are at these days. They play their football in National League South, so a bit of an Essex derby going on over there. Max, we'll keep an eye on that score for you. There's Champions League action, there's Football League action around the country as well. We'll keep you up to date with that. But rest assured, as long, and my fingers are well and firmly crossed, as long as this kit, and if we ever had someone, let's just say someone walked in and thought, you know, from a security point of view, I've got wires everywhere here, but hopefully the kit will keep going for us, and there could be a extra time, 15 minutes each way, and penalties if it's stalemate again. We were just talking off air, your gut instinct, Max, tonight. You think it might be a stalemate?
Yes, I hope to be wrong and hope that it's an 8 or a 10 goal thriller, but you know, I thought Saturday was instructive. I could see it being very tight, very cagey. If it finished 0-0 or 1-1, I certainly wouldn't fall off my chair in shock. But you're always in a position whereby one moment of quality or one moment of mistake, particularly from a defender, if there's tough conditions to grapple with, or they start getting tired towards the end of normal time or extra time. But yeah, if somebody fell out of the sky and says it's going to be 0-0 after 90 minutes, it's well, we saw on Saturday why that could be the case again, perhaps. Two
evenly matched sides, two very attacking sides as well. Scunthorpe unlucky, of course, on Saturday. They hit the bar and the post through Richie Bennett and Connor Smith, respectively. So they did have their opportunities as the two players emerge from the tunnel. Well away to our right. We're in the main stand here, looking ahead to this green lush pitch. The pitch is in almost perfect condition, isn't it? It's a bit, I don't know if it's just because it's not covered on all sides. The pitch looks enormous. It looks kind of Wembley width here, but I'm just told it's a bit of a mirage. But anyway, two players are out, and I can tell you they're not wearing the claret and blue tonight, Scunthorpe. They're in their away kit of almost a minty green. Would you describe that, Adam? Minty green shirts, black shorts and black socks. And right in front of us, players shaking their hands here. And Brackley are in their home kit, so red shirts, white socks. Red socks, rather, white shorts, and all doing the high fives with the referees as well. Referee is Dean Skipper. The two assistants are Tom Hood and Neil Templey. And to confirm that Scunthorpe lineup for you then, they'll play a 4-3-3. In goal is Ross Fitzsimmons. Michael Kelly is at right back. The two centre-backs are Max Coogan and Will Evans. And on the left is Tyler Denton. Into the midfield, they play two holding midfields. I don't know if you agree with this, Max. It would be Jack Jenkins, I would think, and Finn Shrimpton just behind captain Jacob Butterfield, who seems to have this open, almost quarterback role that we were talking about. And then coming in off the wings will be Callum Wilson on the right, and it will be Danny Elliott on the left, with Richie Bennett. That one change to the Ironside, he will be the lone striker, with Danny Whitehall dropping to the bench. So that's where we are as we look at it here from the main stand. Scunthorpe are going to kick from left to right. This is why I do the glass change, Max. I always seem to forget the short and the long. I'm on the longs. Right, good, I can see. Right, and, they're going to be kicking from left to right here, Scunthorpe. We hope we have got a cracking FA Cup game for you here live on BBC Radio Humberside. I think we're with BBC Radio Northampton as well online, so good to have your company, and we're ready to get underway. And it looks like with Brackley all in a huddle in their middle of their half. Brackley setting up in their formation, and they're ready to go. Well, we had a pretty entertaining 0-0 draw on Saturday. Hopefully we get some goals today.
Yeah.
What do you think think Scunthorpe will be on the front foot right from the start, or will they be a little bit cautious away from home?
I would hope they would be on the front foot. Certainly the best performances from us so far this season have when we've tried to get onto the front foot. I'm not really sure that we are the kind of side at this moment in time who, set up, let's get 9 or 10 men out of possession, let's hit them on the break, let's hit them on the counter. And it would send a good message out to Brackley. I feel a little bit self-conscious actually. We're on BBC Radio Brackley. I'm going to be calling Scunthorpe we. So you will have to forgive us.
Well, they'll understand. Right, we're underway. We're underway. There's Scunthorpe kick-off, and straight away they get it back to Will Evans, and he is going to launch one forward 30 yards, and he does. And it's headed away by Gaz Dean, the Brackley captain. And as I say, windy old night here, so not a night for head tennis. And we get the first free kick, and it goes to Brackley. Scunthorpe offside. So and Brackley going to attack then down this left-hand side as we look at it here in the main stand. Ball down the channel, and it's Dean Newton who goes chasing, but he doesn't get to it, and it rolls out for a goal kick. So just shielded well there by Scunthorpe. No scoreboard, Max, I can see. No clock here, so we'll have to rely on fingers and thumbs. We hope there's going to be goals, and we've got the stopwatch going. So that's where we are. And as I say, I know just a handful of supporters. Coogan there when he was shepherding the ball out of play. Looks like he might have gone into the fence that's separating the pitch and the Scunthorpe fans. He's still there. I mean, he's limping really. He's looking a little bit worse for wear. I do hope he's okay. Yeah, that's a good spot. Yeah, he carried on his run, and you have to say the railings, if you like, where the Scunthorpe fans are behind there, are very close to the pitch. About 12 feet or so. So his momentum has taken him over. He's got his hands on his hips, on his back as well, but he seems okay. So he's going to play on. Here's Will Evans going to play it out from the back. And gets it towards the dugouts on that far side, and it's a throw in here to Brackley. And they get the ball back all the way to Dean in the heart of that defence. A 3-4-1-2 they tend to play. I think I might have mentioned a 3-4-1-4 with Chris earlier. It's been a long day already. It's been a really long day. No, 3-4-1-2, so 2 up front for them. And interesting, Jimmy Dean, when I interviewed him after the first game, he was quite defensive about that. He said, well, they do play 5 at the back. So
yeah, and I think it's an interesting tactical conundrum. Obviously, when you're going up against a side who are playing wing backs, it gives them 2 advantages really. They pack the central areas, but then they've also got the options on the overlap as well. And whether or not it's 3 at the back or 5 at the back can be a bit of bone of contention. But so far from Brackley, it looks like they quite like their wing back setup here really. So we've got Scunthorpe have got to try and counter that.
Here are Brackley at the edge of the penalty box. Danger here then for Scunthorpe. That's across to the back, towards the back of the 6-yard box, but it's plucked out of this night air pretty neatly by Ross Fitzsimmons in the iron goal, in the grey and black outfit, goalkeeper's outfit, black gloves, and the ball gets rolled back to him as well. Kelly's calling for it here on this right-hand side, hugging the line here, but Cougar decides to spray it from right to left, right onto the other side in front of the dugouts. Ball is then dink over the top, but it's cut out by Brackley, and they've got time to look up and play it forward, but didn't find Newton there, and it was read early there by Scunthorpe, who are happy to just play a little bit of triangles, just filling out Brackley away from home, of course, unfamiliar surroundings here, very open ground as we described. It's a mild evening. Oh, that was a kick in the back there on Cameron Wilson, and he's ready to get on with it quickly, and Scunthorpe want to take this free kick just inside their own half. 5 yards or so. Play it back to Coogan. He's the last player back, apart from the keeper, of course, and plays it alongside him to Will Evans. And it goes all the way back to Fitzsimmons, back to Coogan on the edge of the Scunthorpe half. Still no score here in the FA Cup. It is second round qualifying. There's £3,375 on offers for the winner tonight, so definitely big incentive, and to progress in, as Chris said, the world's oldest and arguably most famous cup competition. But here come Brackley. Oh, they're down the right-hand side, a little bit of pace on it now, and approaching the Scunthorpe box. This is danger here. Scunthorpe get men back. They got 4 in front of the Brackley attacker, but he managed to find a way through, gets the ball into the middle to Danny Newton. Newton can't quite hook his foot around it. Scunthorpe trying to get it away, but it's only as far as Murray Bedsey. And Bedsey plays in Calder, their wing-back, who likes to get forward. Here's Matt Wasser as well. He just runs out of room there as he tries to get the ball into the box, and it goes out for a goal kick. But that's, looking back at that, well spotted by the way, Max, looking at Max Coogan, he seems okay, but that is a consideration, isn't it? You can't go sliding towards the corner area there. Yeah, absolutely, and you've got to be doubly aware for both sides defensively, really. You know, we've got sort of a fairly similar setup behind both goals. You know, if you've got a striker who's looking to give you a little bit of a needle, just a well-placed nudge or an arm, or a couple of hands to quote-unquote protect himself, but also suspiciously send you into the wall as well. And Coogan was down for a little while there, had a brief conversation with the referee. The Scunthorpe physio didn't come on though, so you would hope it would be nothing too serious, but those kind of impact injuries can be a little bit nasty for the couple of minutes when you need to run them off. Talking about Coogan, he's striding forward here into the Brackley half. That's a neat little ball as well. He plays into Finn Strimpton, who goes herring down the right-hand side. Can't quite see, he's run out of room, or he's been felled. I can't quite see because some Brackley fans all hanging over the railings in front, so we're in quite a low position here. We're only about 5 or 6 rows back, but I am happy to see the referee did blow for an iron free kick there on the right-hand side. We do know that, yeah, and he's going to have a word as well, isn't it? I think with Ricardo Calder there. Yeah, so it's potentially a good opportunity for the Iron to pack the box. If you can get a couple of big lads at the back post. See Coogan running over to the edge of the penalty area as we speak. Jacob Butterfield stood over the free kick for the Iron. Hopefully, when you're talking about tight games, set pieces like this are a massive opportunity just for a moment of quality. Yeah, can they get the early breakthrough here, Scunthorpe? 7 minutes on the clock. Here is the captain, Jacob Butterfield, so impressive on Saturday, and he's 20 yards out on the right-hand side, curls one into the back of the box, and Scunthorpe can't get a head on it, but is headed away for a corner on that far side, and straight away Jacob Butterfield is running over to take this one. Yeah, that was a quality delivery from Butterfield, that out swinging from the right-hand side with his right foot right to the back post. You saw the keeper hesitated, he didn't fancy coming for it in no man's land. A corner, let's hope for another good ball in from Butterfield again. So from the far side you can see the flag waving in the wind, and he goes into the box, bounces once, and it's a shot on the half volley. Bit speculative in the end, it goes over the bar, and it was Richie Bennett The one change for Scunthorpe has come in at top, and that wasn't going to trouble Danny Lewis in the Brackley goal.
Yeah, and another good delivery that in from Butterfield. It looked like Evans, who was just trying to reach it at the first phase, couldn't quite get there. It's come to Bennett in a deeper position to the right of the right-hand post as we're looking at it with the Brackley goal. He should have shown a little bit more composure there for me, Richie. It would have been a fabulous strike if he'd scored from there. He's trying to take it on the up, on the half volley. Yeah, a little bit. Didn't make the most of what potentially could have been a good opportunity for the Iron there.
Paul bounces through to the Iron keeper, Ross Fitzsimmons. Matt Wazza was chasing that one again. We highlighted him as one of the danger players in the Scunthorpe team, and he started lively here tonight at St James Park. 0-0 in the FA Cup. Scunthorpe 0, Brackley 0. Second round qualifying as the ball goes all the way back to the Brackley keeper. He launches it high, 40 yards forward into the Scunthorpe half-dead centre. Claim for a handball, and the referee's going to give that one. It was Shrimpton, and he did just give it a little nudge, and he off the wrist.
Yeah, it was a header from O'Sullivan trying to get it forward for Brackley. It has hit Shrimpton's hand. There it was handball. There weren't any complaints from the Iron players there, so it's probably a fair cop for the free kick.
Oh, here's Bates. That's a short little free kick, and they take it quickly. Matt Wazza now inside the box, left-hand side, tries to cross it in, but offside were Brackley. The assistant referee on the far side, we can just about make him out, and you just see his flag there, how it's quickly moving in the wind. You know, it's gone from one way the other way, so it's swirling around there, the wind here.
Yeah, it's interesting, Brackley's setup here, because sometimes they're playing with 3 at the back, but then sometimes you look at them now out of possession, it's almost as if they've gone to a flat back 4. So I think out of possession they are trying to be quite fluid to counter Scunthorpe's counters, if you like.
Cam Wilson dispossessed as he was trying to move forward. Brackley can counter now, and they do with Calder, left-hand side. He goes scurrying down, edge of the penalty area, then the left-footed cross nearly finds the head of Danny Newton, but it was just half a yard above his head, and it goes out for a goal kick. So yeah, Matt Wazza causing problems already. Yeah,
absolutely. The fabulously named Cosmos Matt Wazza, almost a bit of a star in both name and nature.
Should be a Hollywood actor with that name. He should really, he's wasted at Brackley.
Absolutely, but they are, I think, so far at least, been expansive early doors. Brackley, perhaps a little bit more than we saw them from Saturday, particularly in the first 45 minutes. But when they've got both Matt Wazza and Calder going down the left-hand side, they do look a bit of a handful. They're getting the odd 2-on-1 situation, putting good balls into the box, trying to find Newton, their striker, through the middle. The Iron will have to be aware of that.
Fitzsimmons launches it, and it's 20 yards inside the Brackley half, right on the far side as we look at it. And here our Scunthorpe get the ball into Wilson. He's in a central position just outside the box, lays it off. Jenkins involved as well. Michael Kelly is up from right back, and a little dink into the box. Oh, that's a lovely ball, and it's an effort on goal, but it was offside. It wouldn't have counted, but it was instinctive, and it was a good move from Scunthorpe there. Some nice patient build-up, Max.
Yeah, it was a really good ball into that. I have to say, I'm not too sure about that offside call. I thought he'd made a really good run in behind there, but you know, we preach about the players not trying to be too critical of the linesman. It certainly wasn't as central as the Brackley keeper Lewis has taken that, but his goal kick has gone. Oh, sorry, his free kick has gone all the way out for a Scunthorpe goal kick. But yeah, I'm not actually sure that was offside, at least from our view, anyway.
Yes, with a difficult angle, but it was Denton Tyler who had the shot in the end, but it wouldn't have counted, according to the referee, Dean Skipper.
That's an excellent name for a referee.
Another good name. You know, great names all around. This is all the way with a bit of danger there. He had to deal with that, Fitzsimmons, and he does. Just gets his footwork right and just gets the ball away, and it almost finds itself uncontrolled into the Brackley half, all the way back to Danny Lewis, who's all in that lime green, which, if memory serves me right, he wore that at Glanford Park on Saturday. Not a clash with the green of Scunthorpe, because I said a little bit more of a minty leaf green.
Yes,
we should be okay on that score.
Most definitely. Yeah, just on the referee, you know, if he wants to talk to the captains, does he shout, "Oi, skipper, come over here"? And then they're going, "Oh, but that's you, ref, that's you."
Oh no, confusion, all right. Don't confuse me anymore. I'm confused enough tonight with my St James's Park and my 3-4-1-4s.
I think any Brackley fans listening in online with BBC Radio Northampton would very much like the idea of them playing 13 players.
Little chip over the top. Here's Matt Wazza. He's got some lovely control to bring it down from his thigh, but it's great work by Michael Kelly. Real grit in his teeth there. He wasn't going to let Matt Wazza get past him, but it's out for a throw in here into the final third. Closest to us, to the main stand, as we look at it. And a chance here, looks like he's wiping the ball with his shirt here, the Brackley player, so look out for a long throw. Just taking his time. Everyone is up for Brackley apart from the goalkeeper. And here they come, long throw into the box. They've got to deal with this one. Header for Will Evans, but they infringed there. A little bit of a shove on from a Brackley player, so free kick to Scunthorpe. But that's a bit of a weapon, isn't it, for Brackley? Yeah,
it is, and that's definitely something that the supporters and I dare say the coaching staff have noticed as a difference between the National League and the National League North. You know, in the higher division, some sides would have a player with a long throw. I think it's every side I've noticed at this level. And, you know, a player from Alfreton is the longest throwing I've ever seen with my own eyes. You know, clearing the far post from the touchline. You know, just, you know, from my own perspective as a fan, that's just a fabulous weapon for any side if you've got one.
Ball's out of place, so not missing any of the action. It's a throw into Brackley, right in their final third. You always think, we'll go back to that point, you always think every team should have a specialist player who can do that, almost recruit it, because it is, as we say, it is such a weapon.
Absolutely, at any level. You know, I remember seeing my brother play, you know, just under 14s football, and you know, the side they were going up against clearly had like an amateur weightlifter or something on the opposition. He had an absolutely fabulous long throw, you know, casting envious eyes at it, really, even at that level.
0-0 still here in the FA Cup, live here on BBC Radio Humberside, and Scunthorpe dispossessed in the final third. Dean gets it away. He's always there. He seems at the heart of the defence, but not very far this time, and Scunthorpe can come on the attack again. And they're in the final third. There is Bennett, plays it all the way back to Shrimpton, just in front of the circle, and they come again here. Little shot away, and it's low, driven hard, and in the end it was Butterfield with the shot. And the keeper, Ross, Danny Lewis in the Brackley goal, just had to dive to his left. And that was a good effort on target, probably the best effort of the game so far.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't mind Butterfield in particular shooting from there. You know, we know that he's got quite a good left foot. Unfortunately, he didn't perhaps quite get the power on it needed to beat the Brackley goalkeeper. But you know, there's always the opportunity for a rebound, and it tests them out. Let's see if the pitch. You know, we did have a little bit of rain earlier. Let's see how slick the surface is. So yeah, I don't mind Butterfield having a go from there, especially early doors.
A little bit sloppy from Scunthorpe because they give the ball away into the feet of Murrumbedsi. And now it's to Calder, just on the halfway line. Now it's played backwards to George Carline. He gets the ball back again from Dean. Bennett here. Brackley here, happy to slowly to play their ball out and play it through the lines. And down the right-hand side, that's sloppy as well, though, because the ball's passed to him. He lifts up his foot, the ball goes underneath, throw in on the far side to Scunthorpe in their final third. Here's Evans trying to get the ball away. He was dispossessed, but they recovered well, Scunthorpe. And now it's Bennett, who's almost back in a kind of a Harry Kane position, back in his own half and pumping the ball forward. The tall 6'3" and a bit. I don't know what it was. It said it was 6.3 and then it was 109 something after the 0.3. I don't know. He's just a little bit over 6'3".
It's almost like
it wasn't centimetres.
It's almost a bit like a Tinder bio. You know, he's trying to round up his height to make it sound a little bit more impressive.
Yes, on tiptoes. Let's just say 6'4" on tiptoes. Here he is. You can't miss him, and he lays the ball off beautifully to Shrimpton, who's going forward. Left-hand side. Nearly got that ball through to, I think it was Coogan, isn't it, who stayed, no, not Coogan, it's Tyler Denton, rather, sorry, who got further up front. But here they come again. Matt Wazza here for Bennett, for Brackley on the left-hand side. Quick on the counter-attack. They try to get the ball away. It ricochets off the Brackley player. And now, oh, he's got it done really well there. He dragged the ball backwards to go forwards, trying to get to Butterfield. That's a nice layoff from Bennett to Butterfield. And they're going forward here. They got the advantage, Scunthorpe as well. Dead centre, but there is that man, Murrumbedzi, who comes back and just dispossesses him. And now on the attack here, Brackley with their Alfie Bates, the midfielder, comes forward. 2-3 Scunthorpe players have to come across to take the ball off him. And they do well. And quickly they play the ball up to Bennett. You can just feel the pace of the game starting to rank up a little bit here at St James Park, the home of Brackley Town. And it's 0-0 in the FA Cup second qualifying round. Here they come again, trying to get the cross in, Denton. As he did well, he kept going, edge of the box, got to the byline, got the cross in, but it came off a Brackley player and goes out for a corner again on that far side, their third corner of the game.
Yeah, and another good opportunity for the Iron to get a good ball into the box here. Jacob Butterfield's set-piece delivery has been pretty good so far. You know, you can get Coogan in the box, you can get Evans in the box, you can get Elliott, Bennett, you know. Try and just win that first header and see what happens. A little bit of a mass on the edge of the box, I would say. 3 Scunthorpe players set up in the train, if you like, that one behind the other. So let's see who it drops for.
It's going to be Denton to take it as well. And he's looking up. And he's ready to take this. Here it comes. So it's in front of the 6-yard box, dead centre, headed away by Brackley, but only as far there as Kelly, who was at the top of the circle in the Brackley half, but gets too much on that. It's out for a throw-in on the left-hand side there. So 0-0 still. It was 0-0 on Saturday, and this one just had 1 or 2 goal opportunities. Oh, an early substitution here we're going to have, and looks like it's going to be made on the Brackley side. So who's coming off here? Max, yeah, it looks like he must have picked up a knock, so...
Yeah, there's a bit of conferring going on the Brackley bench. There's sort of, you know, 4 or 5 of their players are using this as an opportunity for a drinks break, but the linesman on the far side has got his, or certainly did previously have his flag up ready for a substitution. One of the Brackley physios also looks like he's come on just to the right of the referee in Brackley's half on the right, and we're looking at it. And now the Scunthorpe players have decided they fancy a drinks break as well.
Yes.
So it's all happening.
That's all. Well, it's not happening, but it is all happening. It's Gaz Dean getting treatment from the physio, just not happy with his knee. And he did make the mark, didn't he, the assistant referee, for a substitution. In fact, I think he's still got his flag up. So. Yeah,
absolutely. And there was, you know, there was somebody with the fourth officials board, as you would call it, you know, with 2 numbers ready up for a substitution. It does appear that Dean, the Brackley centre half, is now walking off towards the halfway line with the Brackley physio. If he is indeed the one about to be substituted here for the Saints.
So it could be a blow for Brackley. They made 2 changes, by the way, from the team that faced the Iron on Saturday. So Tyler Little came in, as well as Tommy O'Sullivan. So Tyler Little for Zach Lilly in their back 3. And they swapped, Morgan Roberts dropped to the bench, Tommy O'Sullivan coming in. So they were their 2 changes. Now let's just see if they are going to make a change here.
Yes, it looks like they've brought Dan Turner on, the number 11, just to the left of the centre circle in Scunthorpe's half. But we haven't yet had an announcement as to who's gone off.
Right.
Excellent. So it is Gaz Dean who's gone off, the number 6 skipper for Brackley.
Oh, that's a blow. That's a huge blow.
Yeah,
he's so experienced, isn't he?
Absolutely. He had a very good game on Saturday. Very, you know, as you say, an experienced physical presence. Had dealt well with the Iron offensively, but might be a little bit of a tactical switch around there for Brackley, because they've definitely brought on the number 11 Turner, who's gone in the final third for them.
Here is Scunthorpe on the attack. It's getting some real pace out onto this right-hand side to Wilson. He cuts inside, plays in Jack Jenkins, the man who's on loan from Leeds United, back to Butterfield again in that quarter back roll. He's got space in front of him just to pop the ball left or right, and in the end it gets forward into Bennett, but another offside.
Yes,
and that's becoming a bit of a hallmark of the game so far, these offsides.
It is, and especially for the Iron. You know, I think that's 5 now we've had in that half. We've had a from Brackley as well, so the linesman is certainly quite trigger happy with his flag so far. So yeah, the Iron have got to stop that really, because they're getting themselves into good positions, and then the ball's being immediately returned to Brackley.
Just over halfway through the first half, still no score. And Scunthorpe looking the more likely. You probably heard that, just confirmation. Dan Turner on for Gaz Dean, the Brackley captain. So Scunthorpe playing this in their own half, little triangles, just trying to find a gap through the middle. Comes off the boot of Bennett into Kelly on the halfway line. And Brackley deal with that because then they get the ball down the left-hand side and they get on the front foot and into the box, and they're going to get a shot away. This guy could have been the first goal, and Matt Wazza off the rebound. It was an awkward shot because that came off a Scunthorpe defender, and Ross Fitzsimmons had to go scrambling back to tip the ball over his bar, and it's out for a corner. So good chance there for Brackley.
Yeah, it was, and Turner, the substitute, cutting on off the left-hand side onto his, what looks like his favoured right foot there. Heeds the call from the couple of the Brackley fans sat in front of us to shoot. His first shot's his block, then the rebound breaks to the home side. Luckily, another block, but a corner to defend here for Scunthorpe.
Certainly is, right-hand side. It gets whipped in. It may have moved it with a win there, the ball. It looked like from this angle anyway, but it's booted away by Scunthorpe. Industrial-like, and only as far as level of their penalty area. Michael Kelly goes back there to deal with Matt Wazza and gets the ball into Cam Wilson, who's chested down. Oh, and then he gets clipped from behind from Shepherd Murrumbedsi, and the referee Dean Skipper says free kick here to Scunthorpe. So it's not a free kick.
No,
it's a throw.
Yeah,
looked like he was fouled there.
Yes, it did, but luckily it was still a throw in. And you know, the Iron were fortunate there because Brackley had got the ball in quite a good position, but O'Sullivan in the middle of the park for them had just played the short pass, and Jenkins was able to nip in and dispossess them.
Oh, that's a lovely little ball there from Bennett, who gets it's the first goal, and it's finally they get the breakthrough. Tyler Denton, I think it is, who struck it low and hard on the edge of the box. It was a beautiful layoff by Richie Bennett on the counter-attack, and finally, we have breakthrough in this FA Cup tie. It is now Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1, and we've had 24 minutes on the game.
Yeah, pre-match predictions of a potential 0-0 draw ruled out, but as soon as they won the ball back into the middle of the park, they picked the tempo up, great through ball, and we've just had confirmation there from the tunnel, which you may have heard, actually
it was Danny Elliott.
Number 9, Danny Elliott, with a great finish, left foot drilled hard, low to the Brackley keeper's left-hand post as he would look at it right in the far corner. Nothing that Danny Lewis could have done there for the home side. That's a quality finish. You know, we think back to Saturday's game originally when the Iron hit both the bar and the post. That finish, that moment of quality there from Elliott is what the first game on Saturday had lacked in the final third from either side. 1-0, great start from the Iron.
Great strike, low and hard from 18 yards from Danny Elliott. 4 goals in his last 5 games now for the Iron, and suddenly Scunthorpe have got, do we say, you know, not a foot, but they've certainly got
half a toe.
Half a toe in the. Thank you for bailing me out. In the third qualifying round, Canvey Island or Braintree Town await the winners of this one, but a long way to go. And Scunthorpe have had to do some defending in this game. Brackley have shown they can be dangerous, particularly on the break. Matt Wazza causing problems. Dan Turner had an effort just a few minutes ago, and then we had the counter there right on that left-hand side edge of the box. Low, hard, drilled shot from Elliott.
Yeah, a terrific finish. You know, as you said there, 4 goals in 5 games now, and sort of Elliott's been a bit of a sort of a man revitalised for Scunthorpe so far this season. Had his previous struggles, but you know, strikers, I think, more so any other position really, potentially apart from goalkeepers, you know, they thrive on confidence. And there was a man, he wasn't looking to check back inside, he wasn't looking to pass, he went on his own. Great finish.
And Elliott again, who strides forward, tries to get the ball into Wilson, but the ball just rolls away from him and goes straight to the Saints keeper, Danny Lewis. And then the ball is back into the Scunthorpe half. It's going one way the other. Here's Turner, who's already causing some problems since he's come on. Into Murrumbedsi in the middle of the park, final third, dead centre. Then he sprays it to the right, then the cross comes in, header! Great save! Wow, that was so instinctive, wasn't it, from Fitzsimmons. It was a header from 6 yards out, and he just reacted there, Fitzsimmons, to get the ball away, and we're still in play. There's Matt Wazza now, left-hand side, edge of the penalty area. 2 players trying to close him down, and in the end, it will be a throw in here to Brackley, and back to Calder. And Calder finds Murrumbedzi now, trying to react quickly here. Brackley, they're not overawed by going behind because very much still playing on the front foot. And looking for an equaliser now. Scunthorpe 1-0 up, 27 minutes on the game. Danny Elliott with it.
Yeah, just to go back to that Brackley chance there, I mean, great save from Fitzsimmons. It was the substitute Turner, who has looked a handful since he's come on for Dean, cut into the side with a real bullet header. If that had just been another few inches, I think, to Fitzsimmons' left,
yes,
I don't think the Iron goalkeeper would have got to it. It's a really strong save with his left hand, and perhaps in a moment of fortune for the Iron, the rebound sort of fell kindly to the defence, and they were able to hack it clear. That is a warning sign, you know, to both Iron and Brackley fans who we might have listening. You know, it is 1-0, but the home side are certainly not out of this game. As you said there, Carson, not overawed. They've not looked too dispirited after falling behind. So, you know, if the Iron are to keep a clean sheet here, they'll have to play well, and they'll certainly have to defend.
I have to say, this Dan Turner, he's come on. He's obviously got a thing to prove, because suddenly he's given Brackley a new dimension, isn't it, in terms of their attack, and has had 2 or 3 good efforts at goal already. He's only been on for, what, 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, and obviously it was an interesting tactical substitution when they brought him on for their club captain, the big number 6, Dean. It looks like the Brackley number 2, George Carline, has slotted into that Dean role, if you like, as the central of their 3 centre halves. So luckily, going forward, the Iron were able to take advantage of Dean's absence with a really nice finish. But likewise, you know, Brackley have now got another attacking player on, Turner, who's been drifting into sort of that pocket of their sort of 2 attacking midfielders in behind the front man. So, as we say, yeah, the Iron are going to have to defend well here.
They certainly are. And does he have to defend here, because here's that man again, Matt Wazza, edge of the box. Again, he cuts inside into the middle, trying to get his shot away. It's off the ankles of Coogan. He was running in front of the 6-yard box and was dead centre there, and Matt Wazza going for one of the, well, going low to the left-hand corner. And they come again here with Calder, left-hand side, wearing the number 3 shirt. And he goes shimmying forward, and he gets his cross in, left-footed, picked out the air by Fitzsimmons, who watched it all the way, did really well. Ross Fitzsimmons, he made that some great saves on Saturday as well to keep Scunthorpe in it, and he's keeping his team 1-0 up here. And here they come again. There's Wilson, little ball for Cam Wilson to chase, and the keeper comes out, Danny Lewis, and just rolls the ball out to Calder. Game noticeably picking up in pace as we go along. It was a slow start, not like Saturday. It was a slow start here, a little bit tentative, both teams, but now they're both in their rhythm and coming forward again with Murrumbedzi onto the right-hand side. Again, level with the penalty area. He cuts inside. Is it Turner again, by the looks of it? Well, Turner's in the middle, trying to battle for it now, and it's out for another goal kick there. So it remains Scunthorpe 1, Brackley 0 here in the FA Cup, second round qualifying replay, and we've got 14 minutes until half-time.
Yeah, just to bring it back to that sort of opportunity there when they've tried to put a through ball into Wilson, but it's got far too much on it. You know, Wilson made a really clever run for once the Linos flag had stayed down. You know, if he got to the ball, he was in with a one-on-one situation on goal, but the through ball was far too heavy, and Wilson's reacted in frustration, and you know, that's it was quite visible. He got a few sarcastic jeers from the Brackley supporters behind the goal to our right-hand side of the Iron attacking in this first half, but you know, an opportunity to hit them on the break here, perhaps. Well,
there certainly is. And the ball's into the 6-yard box. Oh, and the keeper came out at the feet of the Scunthorpe player, and he did well there, did Danny Lewis. Keeper keeping his, it was Michael Vaughan, wasn't it, who was furthest forward, the wing back, and you just think if he just half a second earlier, he would have latched onto that one and maybe clipped it past Lewis in the Brackley goal, but he did really well, the Brackley keeper. And now he launches the ball deep into the Scunthorpe half. Coogan's got to go chasing it. He looks to pass back, but he decides to go forward and boots the ball up to the halfway line. It's headed down. Matt Wazzer again, the playmaker for Brackley. Gets the ball into Newton, the bearded striker, and gets the ball back. And now he's right on this line here, near the corner flag on the left-hand side. Then he comes back into the final third. There's Calder. Calder cuts inside. He nearly runs out of room, but he's shadowed by Wilson. And then the ball goes back into Carlisle. Carline in the Brackley defence. And over they come forward, and suddenly Newton is free, edge of the box, and shoots low into the arms of Fitzsimmons. He hit it straight at him in the end. Didn't have much venom in the shot, but either way, either side of the goalkeeper, that could have been the equaliser there, Max.
Yeah, absolutely. Another opportunity there for Brackley. They've certainly threatened since the Iron have gone 1-0 in front. Fortunately, as you say, drilled straight at Ross Fitzsimmons in goal. But I've been impressed with Fitzsimmons so far today. He's done exactly what he's needed to do. He's made a couple of good saves when Brackley have threatened, and we'll certainly be wanting more of that over the rest of the 90 minutes.
BBC Radio Humberside, live commentary of the FA Cup for you. BBC Radio Northampton online as well. And it's Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1. Danny Elliott with the goal midway through the first half, but they've come close as well, with Dan Turner having a header straight into the arms of Fitzsimmons in the Scunthorpe goal. And Turner again tries to make something happen. This time his cross comes off a Scunthorpe player. Oh, that's going to be punched away. It was a shot towards goal, edge of the box. Has to be punched away by Ross Fitzsimmons. And there was another offside, I think. Yes, there is. So it will be a free kick, and Simmons will take this in his goal area. Well, we will, I think we'll have a look. I don't know if you've got, you can find out, but I'm looking on the BBC Sport website app here. I've got all the latest scores from around the country, and I'm desperate to know Canvey Island and Braintree again on, because that is the team that Scunthorpe, if they win, long way to go, will face in the third round qualifying, and it's not updating.
So I'm very happy to say that Braintree are updating their Twitter very regularly.
Thank you, Braintree.
35 minutes into the game.
Oh, hang on, let's cut off here a second. Wilson picks up the ball, edge of the box, but Calder does brilliantly just to shadow him all the way back, and almost went shoulder to shoulder and gets the ball away, and now Brackley have it. Sorry, Max.
No, not a problem. It wasn't anything exciting. It was just to say that 35 minutes in, Braintree versus Canvey Island is indeed 0-0.
0-0.
But obviously Braintree nicknamed the Iron as well, so there would be an opportunity for an Iron versus Iron clash, perhaps.
Wow. Matt Wazzer. Oh, that's a shot from distance from 25 yards out. It's low, bobbles off the ground. Daisy cutter, if you like. Bobbles off this clean-cut surface and just 2 yards wide of Ross Fitzsimmons' goal, and he goes and collects it to take his goal kick. So Wazzer again looking so lively, just not creating. He's got a shot on him, as he just evidently proved. Yeah,
absolutely. I do think it was a little bit selfish from him there. He potentially had another 5 yards. He could have continued that run, trying to look for a through ball, put the Iron centre halves under more direct pressure. Would have had to have been a cracking strike from that kind of distance to beat Fitzsimmons, and it went 10 yards wide in the end.
Here is Bennett from 25 yards out, crosses the ball to the edge of the D, headed away by Brackley, right-hand side. And here they come into the final third. Run out of room, though. Over the line it goes. A throw into Brackley here, halfway inside their own half. Playing left to right as we look at it here from the main stand. And just remind you, Scunthorpe 1-0 up. They've finally broken the deadlock. Danny Elliott, the goal scorer, but they've got Wilson now on the right-hand side. He looks lively, goes one way, goes the other, then he stumbles. Referee says nothing doing there. Wasn't a push, and Brackley get it away. Again, they're not playing the long ball here. They like to play it very much similar to Scunthorpe. They like to play it out from the back, but this time it was the accomplished Murambedzadze who gets the ball, doesn't find his man, and it's out for a throw in far side. Brackley take.
Yeah, even though Wilson stumbled there, that's exactly what I want to see him from the right-hand side. You know, he was very direct. He was very ambitious, trying to run at the wing back and the left-sided centre half there, having to skin them both, coming inside onto his left foot. But yeah, it certainly wasn't a foul. The Brackley defender was nowhere near him when he stumbled. He didn't appeal for anything, and yeah, but even though he did stumble, positive side from Wilson. That's what I want to see him doing when he's got the ball at his feet.
Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1. Brackley possession inside their own half, then it's a ball forward, and then they're trying to find Turner with the shot, saved by Fitzsimmons. He could have had the rebound there if he was a little bit quicker, Danny Newton, on his feet, but in the end they get it away, Scunthorpe, and living dangerously there. It was a good effort from Turner, who's made such an impact since he's come on for Gaz Dean.
Another big save for Fitzsimmons. There's no two ways of describing it, really. Exactly what you need from the Scunthorpe. But you know, if I was Jimmy Dean here, I'd perhaps be a little bit concerned, because the last 10 minutes, sort of, Brackley have stepped it up in the final third. Another good save from him. You know, a one-on-one situation. Turner's taken it quite quickly on his right foot. And again, had it been further away from Fitzsimmons, I perhaps wonder if the Iron goalkeeper had struggled to make it.
He's been outstanding, hasn't he, Fitzsimmons, as he boots the ball forward to Cam Wilson, right side of the penalty area, back into Shrimpton, when the 22 shirt, little 1-2 with Jacob, the captain, Jacob Butterfield. And Butterfield has it again. He back heels it to himself, and then into the tall figure of Richie Bennett, who holds it up, and out to Denton now, with just a little slide rule pass. He tries to get one to the edge of the box, but doesn't have the pace to get through, and now they can come again here. Brackley, Matt Wazza, left-hand side, just toying here with Michael Kelly. Then he cuts inside as he got support, and he goes on his left peg towards the byline. And is it a corner, says the referee?
Yeah, there was appeal certainly from the Scunthorpe fans behind the goal as to when Kelly made the substitution, as to whether or not it flicked off Matt Wazza's boot, but the referee was unmoved by those appeals, and it's gone out for a corner.
We've got 5 minutes now until half-time, and we've got a corner here to Brackley. So it's near the main stand here. Wind still blowing those trees around behind the goal, and holding two players back, but then it goes in, edge of the box, and it doesn't find anyone in the way. It bounces and then bobbles out for a throw-in on that far side, so makes an opportunity there for Brackley. Yeah,
it was a good ball in, actually. It was whipped in sort of with quite a bit of zip and venom, but it was one of those corners where, particularly when it's in swinging, sort of, you know, the attacking players in the back post don't quite make the run early enough, and in the end it ended up beating everyone and going out for an iron throw in. But I'd much rather have those corners where they beat everyone. You know, one of my absolute pet peeves in football is when the corners don't beat the first man, and there's an opportunity for the defensive side to break. But it wasn't a bad ball in from Brackley's point of view, but luckily for the Iron, it beat everyone really.
We'll wait for this throw-in to be taken. Far side, just level with the penalty area. And some of these passes a little bit wayward, doesn't they? Some really good play, but both sides giving the ball away, and Scunthorpe just gave that away there in their own third to Brackley, and they can go on the attack again now. So Calder is chasing after this one down the left-hand side, keeps the ball in, then he rolls it forward, shadowed by Kelly, cuts inside, then another player, it's Jenkins, has to come across and try and tackle him, but Calder does really well. Just rolls the ball off his studs, and he gets the low cross in, 8 yards out. They can't clear the ball here at Scunthorpe, and it's sixes and sevens, and they're going to get the shot away with Turner, and it's saved by Fitzsimmons. Away to his left, low, and again Fitzsimmons is the hero for Scunthorpe.
Yeah, it's all come from Calder coming up the left-hand side there for Brackley. Looks really threatening. Cuts back inside. They completely fluff the clearance. Breaks to Turner again, who's been a real danger man for the home side here since he's come on. I perhaps wonder why he hasn't started for them.
Oh, Matt Wazza again. He's fending off his man, and he's going into the box. Crosses it, edge of the 6-yard box. Scunthorpe get this one away this time, though. And now they're on the break here with the goal scorer, Danny Elliott, left-hand side. He's now got support from Butterfield and Wilson, who are in the box, and Bennett is hanging at the back of the box. Brackley get the ball away, and they'll build again here at Scunthorpe. Into Michael Kelly. Right-hand side, little ball there into Bennett. Bennett just holds the play up neatly, back into Kelly, who tries to get a cross in, trying to find Danny Elliott in the middle of the box. But again, it's good defensive work there from Brackley, who get the ball away. And now Turner is right there into the final third. He's all over the pitch at the moment as the substitute. Turner, and they come on the front foot again. And here are Brackley dead centre. They're going to try and get a shot away. They've got Matt Wazza, who's free. But it's their number 10. It's McHale, who's trying to twist and turn away from his markers. And in the end, Scunthorpe do well just to shadow him and then neatly take the ball, dispossess him and play the ball forward. The ball, this game, very much swinging from one end to another, and it's a free kick to Scunthorpe. Big news, of course, today. As you'll know, you've heard on BBC Radio Humberside today that Scunthorpe have been issued with a winding up order. I have been told that the Scunthorpe owner has issued a statement which our sports editor Mike White will go through at half-time back in the studio in Hull for us. So if you're planning to go away for a half-time cuppa or wherever it may be, let the dog out. You perhaps want to stay tuned to us, because the Scunthorpe owner has issued a statement about the winding up petition which was made earlier today. Here are Scunthorpe then into the Brackley half, dead centre. Ball is back into the middle, and now Kelly has it, who's happy to come off his wing, if you like, the wing back, and come into the centre and make things happen as well with some neat footwork. Here he is again, Kelly, 40 yards out from goal, dead centre. Little ball there played into Bennett, who lays it off, and now it's Wilson, right-hand side, edge of the box, plays it back to Finn Shrimpton, who's becoming more and more influential as this game goes on. And Kelly again gets the ball wide to Tyler Denton now, the wing back on the opposite flank. Back it goes to Evans. Kelly just dinks it over the top, chested down by Richie Bennett. He gets the ball back to Tyler Denton in his own half, and then, as he does, Jacob Butterfield comes just jogging up in front of him, takes the ball, looks up, quarterback will roll. He's got 10 yards in front of him to spray the ball down the left flank, and Brackley do some cover work. Again, it's that man Turner, Dan Turner, who's probably having the game of his life at the moment. He's back there defending. He's in the final third. He's heading at the goalkeeper, and now he gets the ball out for I think it's a Scunthorpe throw, isn't it, on that far side, just 10 yards in front of the byline, in front of the corner flag there. Yeah, and we've just had the board come up for stoppage time, and perhaps another reminder at this level there are no fourth officials, because they've got a Brackley substitute to do it. 3 minutes, says the PA man. Thank you, Mr. PA man. 3 minutes, and it's Scunthorpe 1-0 up here, but this game very much still in the balance, and Brackley very much still in this cup tie. Down the left-hand side it goes from Calder into Matt Wazza. Will Evans trying to just, Michael Kelly rather, trying to just fend him off. Or goes to Newton, and he has a shot straight at the keeper though, straight down Fitzsimmons' throat this time. And it was a shot from 25 yards, but they're still showing plenty of willingness here, Brackley, not giving up the ghost for a second as we approach half-time. Yeah, just from an Iron perspective, obviously Regan Ogle at right back, his absence is very keenly felt, but I've been impressed with Michael Kelly so far. You know, obviously it does bring you a new dimension when you've got a left-footed player at right back. There's been, you know, 7 or 8 times when he's sort of really excelled at that inverted full-back role. You know, he's very happy drifting into midfield on his favoured left foot, and then gives you an option either, you know, if he gets the ball onto his left foot looking for a cross to the back post, or getting Shrimpton or Wilson on the overlap on the right-hand side. Yeah, Kelly's filling in very well so far, I would say, on his third start for the Iron today. Yeah, to come in, didn't he, because of that rib injury on Saturday to Ogle, and yeah, he's been doing really well. And interesting that Scunthorpe recalled Robert Barrows as well on loan at Inkleston in the in the Northern Premier League rather. There's Wilson suddenly is free in the 6-yard box to the byline, tries to get the cross into Butterfield, but it's hacked away by Brackley, and Calder then plays it down this left-hand side, and it's Matt Wazza trying to just break free. He's pulled back by Kelly. Oh, and that could be a card, first of the game, and it's going to go to Michael Kelly. They've been tussling all evening, and they got a little chest push on each other, and it's Kelly in the book. So first yellow of the game.
Yeah, I would say that was one of those challenges where the defender took one for the team there. You know, Matt Wazza has been a threat down this left-hand side, and he just looked like he was about to get past Kelly. You know, had a stretch of 50 or 60 yards of space in front of him to run. You know, when you're at the end of the first half, that's the last thing you need.
Well, Newton into Matt Wazza, heads it in front of him. Don't think he wasn't offside there. He just headed it, got too much power on the header, and it rolled through to the Scunthorpe keeper, the ever dependable, it seems, Russ Fitzsimmons, he's probably the best player on the pitch at the moment, isn't he, Fitzsimmons?
Yeah, I would say he's definitely been my player of the match so far for the Iron. He's made 2 or 3 really big saves when he's had to, but also just doing the little things right. You know, coming for the cross, putting himself in danger, diving at striker's feet, getting the decision to punch or catch right. Yeah, he's. I think you could make a case he was probably the signing of the summer as well for Scunthorpe and Jimmy Dean. Yeah,
from Chesterfield, of course. National League outfits and a 2-year deal, Fitzsimmons. Looks very much he's going to hold on to that number 1 shirt, although Aaron Chapman is on the bench. And that is the half-time whistle. Well, an eventful first 45 minutes in this FA Cup second round qualifying replay. And at half-time it's Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1. The breakthrough midway through the first half. It was just a brilliant solo effort, wasn't it, from Danny Elliott. A low-driven shot into the bottom left-hand corner from the edge of the box. And that is the difference between two sides, but Brackley have looked pretty dangerous as well. They've had to rely on Scunthorpe Ross Fitzsimmons to keep out Dan Turner, who had a header from close range from 6 yards, and an instinctive save by Fitzsimmons, and that's where we are. Your thoughts, Max? Max is with me. Max Bell, Iron, our podcast author as well, lifelong Scunny fan. Your thoughts after the first half?
Yeah, that was a really entertaining half of football, I thought, actually. Not for the first time. My pre-match prediction, perhaps at this stage, probably got to go in the bin. You know, a real moment of quality from Danny Elliott, a great drilled left foot finish, and that, you know, moment of quality from the Iron forward has been the difference between both sides, because Brackley have got themselves into really good attacking positions in the final third. Well, they've either been felled by Fitzsimmons or they've not been able to hit the target. But you know, this is a cup tie that could still go either ways here. You know, if Brackley create as many chances in the second half as they did in the first, I'd be surprised if this game finishes 1-0.
Well, as you rightly say, they've got one big toe in the third qualifying round here, Scunthorpe United, but a long way to go, and Brackley still very much in this. But half-time here at St James Park, Chris, it's Brackley Town 0, Scunthorpe United 1.
Thanks very much, Karshan Wishart and Max Bell. So Scunthorpe leading by a 1-0 down there. The winners of that one will be away in Essex at either Canvey Island or Braintree, and approaching half-time, Canvey Island lead Braintree, and that one by a 0-0. We will have a check on all the scores from elsewhere in a few minutes' time, but first, the breaking news tonight again concerns Scunthorpe United. Massive lengthy statement. Our sports editor Mike White has been wading through what the chairman has had to say.
I have, Chris. Yeah, 3 pages in total. Scunthorpe United owner and chairman David Hilton has tonight announced that the club is once again up for sale. In that lengthy statement you mentioned that's been published on the official website, he's also confirmed that they're on the verge of receiving a winding up petition for an unpaid tax bill. Now, it follows a social media post originally on a Facebook page named the Scunny United Fans Group earlier this evening. It was posted from a profile using the name David White, who we have reasonable and justified belief to be a name used by current Scunthorpe United owner David Hilton. That initial statement started by saying, due to staff travelling to this evening's game, an official statement has been delayed. Well, since then, the official 3-page statement has been released by the club and addresses a number of things dating back to when Mr Hilton first took over the club in January of this year. The club being up for sale 8 months after taking over is among the more notable comments, but it's not limited to that. Mr Hilton claims to have paid more than 7 figures into the club to keep it afloat, but that there are hundreds of thousands of pounds more needed for settling additional debts. The statement itself follows a winding up petition that was issued today. He says a further one is imminent by HMRC, which he says he will pay along with any petitions, any other petitions that is, from his own money. Mr Hilton in the statement has added as well that at his request last Friday, Keith Waters offered his resignation and will be removed from the board of directors. Ultimately, despite David Hilton's reassurances in the statement, this is sure to leave many Iron fans again concerned for the long-term future of their football club, it has to be said. You ask the question, is there a buyer waiting in the wings, or will the mounting debts eventually become too much? Where this one goes next, though, still remains to be seen, Chris.
Well, there weren't exactly lots of them coming out to try to buy the club. There wasn't a bidding war when he did take over from Peter Swan during the course of last season, but I'm sure a lot of Scunthorpe United fans have opinions on that. There are certain things that we can't say, we must make that clear as well, certain things that we cannot discuss on BBC Radio Humberside, but the big news is that the club is up for sale. We'll have a chat with Max Bell, our summariser and Scunthorpe United fan podcaster in a few minutes' time about this. Elsewhere tonight, plenty of other games going on, starting in the Champions League. Feyenoord 0, Celtic 0, Lazio 0, Atletico Madrid 1. Those are approaching half-time. Milan 0, Newcastle 0 was a full-time. PSG Borussia Dortmund 0-0 approaching half-time. Young Boys 1, Leipzig 3, again full-time. Manchester City 0, Red Star Belgrade 0. Barcelona 3, Royal Antwerp 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 1, FC Porto 3. Domestically in the Championship, Bristol City 3, Plymouth Argyle 1, Cardiff City 1, Coventry City 1, Preston North End 0, Birmingham City 0, QPR 0, Swansea City 1, Southampton 0, Ipswich Town 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Middlesbrough 0. In League 1, Barnsley 0, Portsmouth 3, Peterborough 0, Cheltenham 0, Port Vale 1, Burton 1. And in the EFL Trophy, Morecambe 0, Liverpool 3, Sutton 0, Aston Villa 1, Wickham 0, Crystal Palace 0, Colchester 0, Tottenham 1, Leyton Orient 1, Fulham 2, Oxford 0, MK Dons 1, Exeter 0, Reading 6, Bristol Rovers 1, West Ham 0, Wigan 5, Leicester City under-21s 1, Derby 2, Lincoln 0, Doncaster 2, Everton under-21s 0, and Shrewsbury Town 0, Brighton and Hove Albion under-21s 0. In the National League, Altrincham 2, Hartlepool 1, Barnet 1, Aldershot 0, Borehamwood 0, Rochdale 0, Chesterfield 2, FC Halifax 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Bromley 0, Dorking 3, Wealdstone 0, Eastleigh 1, Oxford City 0, Gateshead 2, Kidderminster 0, Oldham 1, York 0, Solihull 2, AFC Fylde 1, Southend 0, Maidenhead 0, and Woking 1, Ebbsfleet 0. Right, let's head back then to St James Park, where at half-time Scunthorpe United lead Brackley Town by a 1-0. Full second half commentary to come in about 6 or 7 minutes' time from now. But first, Max Bell, as a Scunthorpe United supporter and as a podcaster, what do you make to the statement tonight from the Scunthorpe chairman and owner, Mr David Hilton?
Yeah, I thought yourself and Mike summarised it very well in terms of the big news being that the club is once again up for sale. I think it's hard to not be in a position of concern, of a little bit of uncertainty, because when you are up for sale, that's the natural reaction of will anybody buy us? If so, who? What kind of resources are they going to be? Obviously Scunthorpe have been in situations in previous seasons at least where off-field distractions, if you like, have affected the on-field performances, and I think that's something that every Iron fan wouldn't want to happen this season. It's been quite a positive start. Obviously we're winning so far tonight, but yeah, there's obviously going to be quite a lot of further news. One winding up petition levied, another one from HMRC. We've seen what's been happening to Southend, for example, in the previous months, where they've had very regular winding up petitions and adjournments. That's not a situation that any Iron fan would want to see Scunthorpe in. So more uncertainty ahead, I think, Chris.
I think football fans generally, they don't like to see any club in massive trouble like this, when it's your local rivals, because ultimately it does affect the supporters. Do you actually fear for the future survival of Scunthorpe United?
After the last 2 to 3 years in particular, it's hard not to have some fear. That there's always an opportunity their a winding up petition is a serious thing. I'm still at this moment in time of the belief that it should be okay, in terms of the football club getting to a position where it can potentially be self-sustainable. The Iron will have the biggest crowds quite comfortably so far in the National League North so far this season. There is a good core of support and potential revenue from a town that wants to support and desperately needs its football club. Scunthorpe isn't Hull. It doesn't have the rugby league. It doesn't have the university. It's a one-horse town, and that horse is currently still up playing up at Glanford Park. So. It's hard not to have a little bit of fear, but that there's still a future for football in Scunthorpe. I do really strongly believe that.
The fact that they're going well on the field might help become more attractive to potential investors, although it does seem there are clearly a lot of issues there.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with both of those points, Chris. And the fact that they're successful at a level at which they can be self-sustainable. You're not trying to take over a club that is trying to compete at the top end of League One, for example, and the wages and responsibilities that come with that. This is midway through. Coming up to midway through what has been so far, as you say, a relatively successful season at the top end of the National League North. Hopefully that might attract investors. It's certainly been attracted supporters to dip in their pockets and pay to come and watch the football. But you have to be very brave to invest in football nowadays. I think it's not really an industry that anybody makes money from. So we'll just have to see what happens in the coming weeks and months on the off-field front for the Iron.
Well, we all know the old saying, how do you become a millionaire? Start by being a billionaire and then go and buy a football club.
Absolutely.
There is a certain amount of truth in that. As far as the Scunthorpe United supporters are concerned, I think there'll be some mixed feelings about what's going on now. But at least everything is out in the open, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think transparency to assuage supporters it's a massive tool. But then also in terms of the investors, it's one thing for a club to be up for sale in principle or perhaps behind closed doors. It's another thing for that to be written in black and white on the club's website. Particularly if you're a consortium of potential investors, you're trying to sound out interest from people who might get involved with yourselves. Once you've got that clarity, it might be a lot easier to go forward. I think from an Iron supporters perspective, we'd want to see that clarity and that openness and that transparency continue and increase. How much of the debts, how much is the club for sale for, how have the negotiations been progressing as to whether or not you're going to pay off debts in instalments, or potential updates as the ground situation develops. There will be ongoing, rolling, incredibly important questions that will need to be answered. So I hope that spirit of openness and transparency continues.
When the former owner Peter Swan was trying to sell the club, he didn't have many takers, did he? And it took him a long time to find one. Yeah,
it did. And obviously they'd gone through a previous period where they thought they'd agreed to take over with a local consortium, but then that process didn't happen. And obviously previously you were in a situation whereby you were, at least on paper, selling the club with the ground, with a multi-million pound asset. There have been difficulties about that since. So right now we appear to be in a position where David Hilton is selling the club just as a limited company with fewer assets than potentially other football clubs would have. That could be an opportunity because the price would be lower, you would think, but it also comes with risks for any potential investors, in terms of your assets. If you're taking on greater debts, how are you able to engage with that and get to a situation whereby you try and improve, you try and solidify the club's financial situation. So it's difficult for the Iron. It's very unhelpful off-field distractions, but you just hope we can get into a situation whereby things settle down and there can be hope and optimism for the future.
Well, let's hope so. On the field, optimistic for the second half?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, the scoreline, very much so. A really nice finish from Danny Elliott. You know, that real moment of quality has been the difference between both sides. But Brackley have threatened. Ross Fitzsimmons in goal for us has had to make a couple of real good quality saves. You know, if the longer the scoreline stays 1-0, you feel that Jimmy Dean will try and tighten up defensively for the Iron, slow the tempo down. But yeah, as Carson and myself said, the Iron have perhaps, if not a whole foot, they've currently got a big toe in the draw for the third round so far. So let's see how the next 45 minutes go.
Well, they do indeed have one big toe in the next round, but 45 minutes still to go. But what a great goal by Danny Elliott.
Oh, that's a lovely little ball there from Bennett, who gets oh, it's the first goal! And it's finally they get the breakthrough. Tyler Denton, I think it is, who struck it low and hard on the edge of the box. It was a beautiful layoff by Richie Bennett on the counter-attack. And finally, we have breakthrough in this FA Cup tie. It is now Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1, and we've had 24 minutes on the game.
And the winners will be away in Essex. They'll be going either to Canvey Island or Braintree Town in the third qualifying round. And as things stand at the moment at half-time, it is going to be going to Canvey Island because they lead by a 0-0. 10-9, BBC Radio Humberside. We will not be hearing from David Hilton. He has made a point of saying that he will not be making any more statements or saying anything at all, but there may be some reaction a little bit later on tonight after the game. Let's head back to our commentary team then. Max Bell, who's barely had a break at half-time, and your commentator, Carson Wishart.
Chris, thanks very much. In fact, Max has gone for a comfort break. So it's just me for now, but I can tell you all the players, both sets of players are back out. So Scunthorpe away to my right. So looking from the main stand. Change your glasses, Carson, so you can see. Yes, I've done that. And Brackley away to our left. So we had quite an enthralling, entertaining first 45 minutes. We hope we got similar in the second half. And Scunthorpe managed to navigate their way through this tough-looking Brackley side. The goal from Danny Elliott then midway through the first half. And as players just get a little bit of a huddle, and you can see their shirts rippling in the wind at the moment, those mint green shirts, Scunthorpe's away kit. So still pretty windy here, but not particularly benefiting either side because it's going right across the pitch rather than blowing one end or the other. So he is back. There you go, Max. Get in there into his point, past all those wires, and we're back in. So yeah, and we're about to get underway. So the referee just checking both goalkeepers to see if they're happy, and they put their thumbs up. And what do you just think that Jimmy Dean would have said there at half time?
I think he would have been encouraged by the Irons' efforts offensively, but perhaps try and tighten things up in the middle of the park. You know, when Brackley have had their wing backs on the overlap, they have looked a threat. You know, Ross Fitzsimmons in the goal he's been the busier of the two keepers, really. Probably so far the first half, my player of the match for Scunthorpe. So he'll want to tighten that up defensively. You know, the longer it stays 1-0, once you start getting into the last 20-25 minutes, you do wonder then, do the Irons start sitting a little deeper? Do they defend more compactly? And yeah, Brackley will just be looking for that little moment of offensive quality that they haven't quite yet had.
Referee blows his whistle, as you can probably hear, and we're back underway in the second half then. So it's Brackley Town 0, Scunthorpe 1, FA Cup qualifying replay, second round qualifier.
Yeah, we've just had news from the very helpful Scunthorpe media team here, because we haven't yet had an announcement from the PA that the Iron have made a half-time substitution. Cameron Wilson has been subbed off for Dion Sembi-Ferris. So it's a straight swap down the wing for the Iron. And there we go.
Yes, just on cue. Sembi-Ferris is on, and he's an attacking midfielder, isn't he, Sembi-Ferris, ex-Colchester United. And Wilson is off. The Ghoul lad might have picked up a little bit of a knock there. We'll check at the end of the game, because Wilson was doing pretty well, wasn't he? He was getting some purchase down this. Well, he was coming down this right-hand side mainly.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is an opportunity for Sembi-Ferris. You know, he's shown promise, but perhaps not quite got himself into a position where he's a guaranteed starter. So if he can come on.
Here's Tyler Denton on the right-hand side. He's got Elliott in the middle, but just misses him, goes behind him by a yard or two. And now Alfie Bates picks it up for Brackley. He tries to get the long ball into Danny Newton, who was just outside the box, but it's cut out by Coogan, the burly centre-half, the rock-solid centre-half for Scunthorpe United. And in the end, the ball finds its way all the way back to the Brackley keeper, Danny Lewis.
Yeah, in a way, if looking for Senby Ferris to have an impact on this game, I'd probably look to the Brackley substitute, Dan Turner. You know, the offensive player, the number 11 for the Saints, who's come on and sort of looked very bright and very lively. If bright and lively, sorry. If Senby Ferris can come on and do the same, I think Jimmy Dean will be pretty pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been the best player on the pitch, almost, hasn't he? Apart from maybe Matt Wazza for Brackley since he's come on. Made a real impact. The voice, by the way, of Max Bell, if you're just switching on. You'll know him well around Glanford Park, I'm sure. The Eye and Out podcast. When's that out? Give it a little plug.
Oh, thank you very much.
We must do, really. Our fee is that low. You know, you need a plug.
We'll be recording one very very shortly, particularly in light of the off-field news. So yeah,
I'll get into trouble from that. I'll get a memo from Community Management later, I'm sure, about that little interlude. But it goes, that was clever by Fitzsimmons. He just dummied that Turner in his own box and plants the ball all the way back into the hands of Danny Lewis, his opposite number in the Brackley goal. That shows some confidence.
It was indeed. He'd been sold a little short by the back pass there. Really intuitive play from Turner, the attacking midfielder from Brackley there. He's pressed Fitzsimmons straight away. I wouldn't have blamed the Iron goalkeeper at all if he just cleared the ball out for a throw in. But the fact that he was able to sort of successfully feint and then give it an absolute hammer, 70, 80 yards all the way back to the other goalkeeper. Yeah, good goalkeeping.
Yes, looked very assured, very skillful, and he shows he can do it with his feet as well, does Ross Fitzsimmons. But at the moment he may have to be called into action again because it's a free kick here to Brackley. 15 yards or so inside the Scunthorpe half, dead centre, and it's played onto the right-hand side to Little. One of the two changes they made before kick-off here, Brackley into Danny Newton, and he just lays the ball off to Calder. Deep on that left-hand side, and they come forward again here. Brackley level with the Scunthorpe penalty box, and that's a brilliant little darting run, and he keeps going, and then is that a penalty? It is! He's given away the penalty. It was Dom McHale who went flying over. He had some pace. He ran in from 15 yards into the box, and one of the big burly Scunthorpe defenders has put a leg out, and the referee straight away, Dean Skipper, points to the spot. And with just a few minutes of the second half gone, a penalty to Brackley.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a controversial one, that I suspect. Really direct, good, positive attacking play from Matt Wasser there. Took a couple of Scunthorpe midfielders out of the game straight away, and as soon as an attacking player gets into the box, you know that you're sort of almost putting yourself on offer if you put a foot forward. Richie Bennett's just been booked for dissent. The Scunthorpe players have reacted in fury there at the challenge. Looked like he might have won the ball, but it's not going to be any consolation if it's 1-1.
And he's in the way of the player here, and it's going to be their number 9 who's going to take it. It's Danny Newton on the spot here for Brackley. Left-footed, it's a save by Fitzsimmons, and it's over the bar! Over the bar by Brackley. Fitzsimmons did brilliantly to go down low to his left and parry the ball away, and it was Turner who came in, the substitute, and knocked it over the bar. It is still Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1.
Wow, the drama, terrific. I mean, so it wasn't a great penalty from first off, I would say. Fitzsimmons has dived low to his left and saved it, but then there's two Brackley players queuing up for the rebound. That's an awful miss on the rebound. I mean, Ronnie Rosenthal, eat your heart out. Fitzsimmons is still on the ground. The goal is gaping. The left foot of, I believe he said it was Turner, clipped the bar and then gone over the stands.
Well, we've been praising Dan Turner, but that was, it was easy to score, wasn't it, from that position? He was a yard out, and somehow he's clipped it over the bar. And I think as well, Fitzsimmons got he didn't, because it wasn't a corner. So I wasn't on that road. But it looked like he almost got it tipped over the bar. And the rain comes lashing down now.
Yeah, and you can see the winds bringing it in as well. The conditions look like they could be quite lively here for the rest of the second half if it's going to stay like this.
All the drama of the FA Cup here live on BBC Radio Humberside for North Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire. And wow, Scunthorpe there have really been let off the hook. And it's still Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1. That goal midway through the first half from Danny Elliott. And we'll just recap on the penalty, how it all happened in a second or two, but Alfie Bates gets the ball back to his keeper. Now they've got to deal with his conditions.
I must admit, there's while the rain's lashing down, the Brackley fans behind that goal have made me laugh, because a few of them have come in to sort of try and get under the partial cover, and there's a rousing chorus of "call it off," which well, given the iron benefited from the postponement against Buxton.
Yeah, there's a few Buxton fans among there.
in the 94th minute, it's hard not to draw a wry smile and understand perhaps where they're coming from on that front.
You feel now, yes, absolutely, yeah. Gallows humour behind that Fitzsimmons goal. There's just a small covering, isn't there? And they're all huddled in there. The Brackley fans making their voices heard here. Scunthorpe fans, what, about 50 of them behind Danny Lewis's goal away to our left. Just switching on. It's a very open ground, so this rain will have certainly have a more of an effect if it was at Glanfield Park back home, wouldn't it now?
Yes, absolutely.
It's driving in, you know, from the dark. It's driving in. The trees are still blowing in the wind.
And that's the thing, actually. I think if we were playing at home at Glanford Park, you might not feel the conditions as keenly, because it would be lashing against the back of the stand. It'd have to do more work to get over the Donny Road end, for example. But as we say, it's a nice little setup here at Brackley, but it's very open, particularly opposite the main stand as we're looking. Behind. Only this main stand is covered for, most of the stand, you'd say.
Here they come. Here's the substitute here as well. Sambi Ferris crosses the ball in, but it's headed away by Brackley. Good header. And now they try to get the ball into the Scunthorpe half, but it's picked off again. Reading these passes really early, both sides, in fact. That's been the hallmark of the game. Both teams giving away the ball. And then the ball's popped over the top. Not going to find Richie Bennett from there, and out for a goal kick. Did you see who brought the player down, the Scunthorpe player? No, there was a bit of a melee on the far side there. But I would say, even though the Scunthorpe players and some of the supporters as well were protesting furiously, it was really good play from Matt Watser. I thought it was very direct, aggressive running, and as a winger, if you put defenders under pressure, sometimes you get decisions from referees. That kind of play is what I and probably Jimmy Dean want to see from his wingers in the other half. Brackley, edge of the box, just trying to wriggle the way through. Yeah, I just saw a black sock, a big giant leg, just kind of suddenly it appeared. Oh, that's given away there by Brackley. Here's Elliott. He goes on his left-hand side, gets the cross away over the bar. That was sloppy from Brackley from a defensive point of view, but sharp as attack there, Danny Elliott, straight onto it as a flash, and got a good shot away. It was a cute angle, went for it, keeper at full stretch, where it's an inch or two over the bar.
Yeah, perhaps an indication of how open this ground is. We are now onto our third ball in the last 10 minutes. It was a good effort from Elliott. As you say, sharp as attack, intercepted the ball, ran at the defender. He's feinted to go right, then gone left, got it onto his left foot, hit it hard, but just got over the bar at Glanford Park. That would have people ducking in the Donny Road end, but here at St James Park, it looks like they've had to send a couple of stewards to go and look for the ball in the tree. Suddenly
then they're breaking on the right-hand side here with Bates, tries to get the cross in. Brackley, edge of the box. Scunthorpe got three players trying to close him down, but Brackley still have possession here. They have to go backwards though, and then they spray it back to the right-hand side to Bates. Edge of the penalty area, low drill cross in to the penalty spot, and bodies everywhere. And Scunthorpe here, the ball breaks loose, and he could have got the shot away there, Turner, but the keeper again, Ross Fitzsimmons, how many times we mentioned his name? He's quick off his line, and he manages to boot the ball out, but only for a throw-in. Level with the Scunthorpe penalty area again. Far side, 10 minutes into the second half. And it's still Scunthorpe leading by that solitary goal from Danny Elliott. Ball back into the penalty area, and it's headed down by Danny Newton. The Brackley striker, and that's not going to trouble Fitzsimmons in his goal this time. So remains 1-0 to the Iron, but Brackley here are making a real contest of this. Don't forget Canvey Island or Braintree Town await them in the third qualifying round. And the last we heard, Canvey Island 1-0 up against Braintree, an Essex derby there.
Yeah, the Iron are under pressure here now. Since half-time, really, it's with the honourable exception of Elliott's effort on the break there, which came from Brackley giving the ball away. It's been pretty much domination from the home side. As you know, in case anybody missed it, Fitzsimmons saved the penalty and the rebound blazed over. A real moment of fortune, perhaps, for the Iron, but they'll certainly feel that they deserve that. There was real severe protestations from the Iron, claiming that it wasn't a foul and that they won the ball.
So here come Brackley again, and it's Matt Wazza again, and Tyler Denton does brilliantly this time. He just matches him for pace, and then he just knocks the ball off his toes. But then they come back, Brackley here, they pick up the pieces, edge of the box, gets the shot away over the bar. That was a good effort there by Calder, just 6 inches over the bar, and this time Fitzsimmons was at full stretch, but didn't trouble him in the end. But a good effort there by Brackley.
Yeah, it was a good effort. Thankfully, as you say, it was off target. Had it been off target, I think even Fitzsimmons might have been struggling. Interesting tactical shift here for the Iron defensively. Obviously, Kelly had spent the first half playing at right back in for the injured Regan Ogle, but in the second half, him and Denton appear to have swapped, and certainly at this moment in time, Kelly is currently playing on the left as they try and deal with Brackley's threats down the wings. You know, Matt Watson in particular has looked a real handful so far the second half.
Yeah, it certainly has. And they're coming here again. Final third here for Scunthorpe. There is Shrimpton, middle of the pitch. Sprays it across. It's like a bowling green, isn't it? Michael Kelly, lovely little dink ball there into Elliott, who's on the byline, going to the corner flag, just toying, teasing the defender. And he cuts back and then plays the ball to the edge of the box. Doesn't find, though, Jack Jenkins at the edge of the box, and Brackley get us away, but Brackley is struggling just to clear the ball away.
Scunthorpe wanted a free kick there, but referee unmoved, and it gives a Brackley throw-in instead.
So we've had, what, 12 minutes of this second half. Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1, but you feel there's another twist in the tail at least in this one. Real drama in the FA Cup here. There is Brackley in the middle of the pitch, and he does well to break away. Oh, and that's a card for Finn Shrimpton. It was Don McHale who got away, spun away from him, and it was just Finn Shrimpton, almost a rugby-style tackle, almost took the shirt off his back. Yeah,
Shrimpton knew what he was doing there. It wasn't you know, malicious or a bad challenge at all, but I thought it was very similar to the one Michael Kelly got booked for down the right-hand side in the first half, where, you know, McHale's about to go on the break for Brackley, and he's gone, no, not having that, dragged him back.
Yep, certainly one for the team, and the cross to the back of the box here into the Scunthorpe box. And now they knock again here at the door. Brackley, cross from the right-hand side, all punched away by Fitzsimmons. But Brackley still have it in the final third, and they'll come again with Alfie Bates. All right-footed cross to the penalty spot, but it's coolly dealt with this time by Will Evans, who just hooks it away, but only as far as Bates again. And then Moran Badzi, who is playing his own quarterback game for Brackley, just sprays the ball wide onto the left-hand side, again in front of the dugouts. Calder pumps the ball down the line, and now they're trying to come inside here. Now the cross is going to come into the box from Brackley, and there's Fitzsimmons. Oh, this time he doesn't get it though, and they have to get it away with Butterfield, and he does it brilliantly. Does the captain, cool as you like, hooks it away deep into the Brackley half out for a throw.
Yeah, I thought the wind you see Fitzsimmons there in terms of the cross was quite literally looped up, and he's come to try and get it, but it's sort of held up, and thankfully the Iron were able to hack it clear in the end. But the Brackley pressure is building here, still 1-0, but you do feel that if there is a goal coming, it is more likely to be for the side in red than it is mint green.
Right.
Famous kiss of death, perhaps.
Famous kiss of death there by Max Bell. But yeah, no, I have to agree. They are looking more and more a threat here, Brackley, as the game goes on. and they're looking, I have to say, they're looking the more energetic side at the moment. But on the break, Scunthorpe looking really dangerous still, and Danny Elliott getting further forward as well into a central position, coming off his wing, if you like. I'm just wondering when Jimmy D might think of substitutions. Will he think of taking the likes of Richie Bennett off and having more of a defensive set, or will he still go for it? That's a ball from Newton, sprayed from right to left. It's cut out by Tyler Denton. And Denton tries to get it to the halfway line, but it's cut out again. And Brackley come again in red. And it's red alert here for Scunthorpe because he comes scurrying into the box. And it's dealt with by Scunny. And they're going to play their way out, and that means they're in danger, though, because Newton's dispossessed him, and it's out to Bates. There is Newton, who turns into McHale. He gets the ball lost under his feet, and then it's away there by Will Evans in the centre-back position for Scunthorpe. Still leading 1-0 here in the FA Cup, but you feel anything can happen over the next half an hour or so. Stay with us here live on BBC Radio Humberside Sport. My name is Carson Wishart, alongside Max Bell, your co-commentator. And certainly got some drama here as one of the Scunthorpe players goes down. It's Jacob, the captain, isn't it? Jacob Butterfield, who's on his backside in the circle. He gets up now, he looks okay. And it looks like it's going to be a free kick here to Scunthorpe, just 5 yards inside the home half, dead centre, out to Shrimpton. Butterfield picks it up and finds Elliott on this left-hand side, again level the penalty area, but then his pass is wayward and Michael Kelly has to go back, scurrying for it, and he gets it back to Will Evans, and then his pass is intercepted by the diminutive Alfie Bates in the Brackley midfield, and that's good to see. He gives a little tap on the hand to Kelly. Mutual respect from the two players.
Yeah, the Iron just need to get a foot on the ball here now. Every time they get in possession, it's just trying to hack it clear, and the Brackley possession continues. Just slow the game down. Try and have 60 seconds in possession. Just remind yourself that you are a good side. You can make the other side work, because at this moment in time they're struggling to have much of the ball at all, really.
Here's Bates again for Brackley. Plays it inside into the middle of the park in their own half here, Brackley, but trying to break here with McHale, their number 10. He plays a low little ball into Dan Turner, and Turner back to McHale. Just getting much more possession here, Brackley, and looking to find a way. You can see they're desperate for an equaliser here, and Scunthorpe not hanging on as such, but they're having to work hard on defensive duty. Little ball over the top, and here is Danny Newton now chasing it, cuts inside as he got support here. Scunthorpe scrambling their defence, and it goes to the left-hand side of the box, and it's Matt Wazzer who gets the cross in. It ricochets off a Scunthorpe player and out for a corner on that far side. And again here, Max, Brackley knocking on the door. Yeah, I suppose we shouldn't be surprised, really, because when the draw was made, Brackley were top of the National League North. It was just about the most difficult draw that Scunthorpe could have got, and you can see why. I'd be very surprised if Brackley weren't up there at the top end of the league table at the end of the season. Well, they have a corner here for Scunthorpe to deal with. Left-hand side into the 6-yard box. Oh, it misses. Missed Newton. And in the end, it was just headed back to the goalkeeper, Fitzsimmons. But Fitzsimmons here has taken a knock. And they've called on the physio here, the referee, Dean Skipper, and must have been an off the ball there. As he was collecting the ball, he's taken, looks like a knock into the midriff there. Yeah, well, there was certainly nobody near him. He really doesn't look happy for Simmons, I have to say. His right leg in particular, he hasn't moved. He's sort of half sitting up now, which is encouraging, but he went down very suddenly and looked really unhappy there. He's getting quite a bit of stick from the Brackley faithful behind that goal. But assuming he is okay, the Iron could probably do with a little bit of a breather here. Most of the players have gone over. They're having a chat with Jimmy Dean, try and get a bit of tactical information. But I do hope Fitzsimmons is okay, because he's been the best player on the pitch so far. Well, I may be wrong. He may have just fallen awkwardly. Ross Fitzsimmons. Aaron Chapman is on the bench, reserve goalkeeper. Is Fitzsimmons going to carry on here? He doesn't look happy, looks into some discomfort, as you rightly say, Max. He's just limping his left knee. Maybe give him some jip here. Now are they going to make the change, Scunthorpe? Because Fitzsimmons has been, well, he's kept him in the game, hasn't he, in both ties?
Yeah, absolutely. The referee's dropped the ball to Fitzsimmons, but the Scunthorpe players were all still over by the other side of the pitch, receiving tactical instructions. Perhaps not a greatest sign that he's just shanked his kick there, Fitzsimmons.
Matt Wazza now is on the attack. Bates is calling from the right-hand side, and he gets the ball as well, edge of the box. And here is Bates, right-footed, penalty area, and it's punched away by Fitzsimmons, who had to come off his line at the edge of his 6-yard box, and it's out for a throw in there. So he was needed there straight away, Ross Fitzsimmons, and he seemed to be moving okay there.
Yeah, he was, but the referee seems to be saying that Fitzsimmons has missed the punch, actually, because he's given the throw into Scunthorpe. So Fitzsimmons perhaps done his job of putting off the striker when coming out for the cross, but doesn't appear to have actually made any contact with the cross. And hopefully the iron can clear here.
Man City, by the way, have equalised in the Champions League. They were 1-0 down against Red Star Belgrade. It's now Manchester City 1, Red Star Belgrade 1. 53 minutes gone there at the Etihad. And it's still here, Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1. Now, Danny Elliott, the difference. So remember that Brackley missed a penalty 10 minutes into this second half. Well, you could say, well, I say miss, it was a great save by Fitzsimmons, but then they knocked the ball from 1 yard out over the bar. And Scunthorpe starting to live a little bit dangerously here as Matt Wazza again causes problems, but then he's dispossessed, as I say that. And this is good work, Tyler Denton involved into Richie Bennett. And Bennett plays the ball backwards into Jacob Butterfield, the Iron captain. Back there into Bennett, and then he crosses it to Elliott, and he chests it down, edge of the box. The assistant referee on the far side, though, has his flag up, and it'll be a free kick here. Now, I did say earlier, I thought the wind was growing across the pitch. He may have moved, because the linesman's flag there was certainly blowing in the direction of Danny Lewis in the Brackley goal. So, I could say that Scunthorpe have got the wind behind them here as well.
Yes, so perhaps geographically, but on the pitch, it's as if Brackley are playing with the wind in their sails.
Yes. That's a big challenge there from George Carlyle into the back of Richie Bennett, and I thought Bennett was going to stay down, but he's back on his feet. Just filling his calf a little bit. I bet that's going to be a big bruise on the back of his leg in the morning. And out it goes there for a line out. I don't know why I'd do that. Too many rugby union games. For a throw-in. A throwing. Sorry if Chris is listening back in the studio. It's another one to mark off.
It would certainly make the throw-ins more interesting if you could sort of, grab the centre half up by their legs to try and win the header.
And I know it's the wrong code as well, which I'm talking about for our listeners here on Radio Humberside.
It's rugby union south of the river. There'll be Scunthorpe fans smiling, don't worry. And Northampton as well for any online listeners.
Fortunately, many years covering Worcester Warriors, and unfortunately, they're no more. Anyway, here we are. Matt Wazza heads it back. Still 1-0 Scunthorpe lead here.
Yeah, just as the clock's ticking down, I wonder how long it is before Jimmy Dean returns to his bench, perhaps.
Yes, there's 25 minutes gone in this second half yet. I'm just thinking exactly the same thing as Bates. He's now on the right-hand side. He looks to cut inside the Brackley midfielder, and then a little chip over the top, almost like a golfer chipping it onto the green, but it's away by Scunthorpe. And Richie Bennett goes chasing this clearance down. It's going to go all... Oh, no, it's not going to go back to the keeper, is it? And suddenly Danny Lewis has to come off. He just bobbled the pass backwards. And Danny Lewis had to come off his line, if you like, and deal with that outside his box. And now Brackley do calm it down and have possession then. It goes all the way back to Lewis in his goal. 6'2" goalkeeper in that lime green shirt of his and kit. And it's down the left-hand side. Matt Wazza now. Halfway inside his own half. Again on that far side.
Oh, referee could have perhaps played advantage there. Matt Wazza had beaten them, and a few disappointed groans from behind the Brackley goal. And certainly it looks like at least a substitution is being readied on the far side.
Yeah, we'll keep a keen eye on that one. But yeah, someone's about to come on for Scunthorpe. And how's he going to change formation here, Jimmy Dean? Because he needs to do something, because it's now all Brackley. Right-hand side, low cross drilled in, edge of the 6-yard box. Will Evans gets it away, and you can probably hear the ironic cheer from the Saints fans behind Fitzsimmons' goal, and they're cheering the fact that their side have got a corner there. They weren't too sympathetic as well, were they, to Ross Fitzsimmons when he was down for an injury. Oh, this is Bates, headed away, that time by Elliott, who's right back in the penalty area. Only as far, though, as the Brackley man on this left-hand side, trying to come in, and then, ooh, in a little cross over the top, and that's an overhead kick by Danny Newton. And I tell you what, that wasn't a million miles away. Good ingenuity from the Brackley front man, and it bounces 2 yards wide. But good effort there by the striker.
Yeah, absolutely. If that had been on target, it was in. You know, Scunthorpe would have been frustrated that they conceded the corner. Evans, with perhaps not his greatest moment in knocking it straight out, then they're sort of able to clear the first phase, and it looks like they're going for the substitution now, but the referee doesn't appear to be too clear as to who Scunthorpe are bringing off. Smattering of applause with the away fans to our left-hand side.
So it is Richie Bennett who's coming off. I thought that might have been the case. Now, is this like for like here? Is he brought on Danny Whitehall, is it?
Yes, it is indeed Danny Whitehall,
yep.
And from my perspective it makes sense. You know, Bennett's sort of, you know, run a great deal so far, but he's also been yellow carded in the aftermath of the penalty for dissent towards the referee.
That's correct, yep.
And the last thing you want is going down to 10 men, so yeah, good substitution from Jimmy Dean for me.
Whitehall gets us into action straight away because he heads it on, trying to find the on-rushing Danny Elliott, but in the end it goes out for a goal kick. So yeah, very much like for like. And I haven't checked the exact size of Danny Whitehall, but I would say he's around about 6'3" and a bit.
Yes, I would happy to endorse that as well. And you may have just heard confirmation there from the PA here at Brackley that Whitehall has come on for Bennett. I think Bennett's played pretty well. He's put himself about, done as much physically as he can. Fresh legs in the final third may go down quite well.
And he came quite deep as well, doesn't he? He came looking for the ball, where Whitehall certainly on Saturday was the furthest up front, and he was stuck to a traditional striker's role, supported of course by the likes of Bennett, who will come off his wing and support him there. Cam Wilson is off now though, but we've got Sammy Ferris, the attacking midfielder, on that right hand side, also supporting the striker Danny Whitehall. So it's certainly not one up front, is it? It's almost like three up front when they go forward.
Yeah, I would completely agree. You know, the Iron have had to weather the storm here, you know, throughout pretty much all of the second half. You just hope that we can either get a little bit more of a foot on the ball in the middle of the park, or as Brackley keep pushing further forward and further forward, there's opportunities in the channel for the likes of Sammy Ferris, the likes of Elliott, to try and feed Whitehall in. You know, because the next goal, if there is a number two, could define this cup tie, you'd feel.
Yeah, 15 minutes on this cup tie, and it's still Scunthorpe 1, Brackley 0. Goal by Richie Bennett first. Danny Elliott rather, halfway through the first half.
And it also looks like both sides potentially ready in another substitution. So this would be the Irons' third and final. So be interesting to see what card they play here.
Got
the poor linesman's having to furiously scurry the 40 yards from where he was previously to put his flag up, as both sides deploy their substitutes to get the boards up here to signal who's coming on and who's coming off.
It's Max Coogan who's gone off for Scunthorpe, the centre back. I wonder if we picked up a little bit of a knock when he ran into the hoardings early in the first half.
Yeah, and it's a straight like-for-like substitution for the Iron. Andrew Boyce has come on for him. That would have to be enforced. You wouldn't make that willingly. It's not a tactical shift really. And as you rightly said, he did definitely take a knock early on in the first half on the sort of almost wire fencing in front of the Scunthorpe fans that he really didn't look very happy about. So yeah, I hope he's okay, and especially in time for Saturday.
Yeah, again, we'll check that.
I was just going to say, in terms of Andrew Boyce coming on, you know, that's somebody I would have reasonable confidence confidence for at centre half for the Iron there. So hopefully he can come in, and I suspect he might be busy for the
yes, absolutely.
last few bits of this second half.
Yes, but the game's quietened down a little bit, I have to say, where Brackley were going forward at will, but now Scunthorpe have possession.
Commentators curse there.
It is. I should just shut up, really. But
don't do that.
That probably beats the object of the game.
Don't leave me in charge. That'd be horrible.
Sadly, this is not telly. I have to keep talking. Oh, I'll say sadly, just for my voice. Oh, that's a problem there, isn't it? Tyler Denton has just taken a knock there by one of the Brackley players, and he's in real pain. He's slapping the ground with his hand and writhing around a little bit. The physio is on straight away.
Yeah, there was a definite off-the-field incident. It looked like the referee's got his yellow card out there, but he had actually already blown for a Brackley free kick. There was then an off-the-ball collision. A few, shall I say, keen calls from the Iron supporters behind the goal, calling for a red card there, but the referee has given a red card. A yellow card, not a red card, but also a free kick for Brackley. You may have heard the confirmation from the PA there of the substitutions.
Doesn't talk much. When he does, you listen as the PA.
Absolutely.
It was Shepherd Moran Badzi has picked up the yellow card for Brackley, and I think it was an off-the-ball incident.
Yes, and it certainly sounded to me like it was the number 8, Alfie Bates, who's been substituted off for Brackley, which is a bit of an interesting one, because particularly in the second half, cutting in off the right-hand side as we're looking at it, he's looked quite a bit of a threat, Bates.
He has, hasn't he? I call him diminutive. He's only, 5'3", 5'4", but he's got that low centre of gravity, Alfie Bates, and has caused some problems. But, Brackley, as you rightly say, Max, making the changes.
And it's also good to see that Denton looks like he's just about stood up and is about to hobble off, quite literally. Scunthorpe United have made all 3 changes here, so I do hope he's okay. Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't look comfortable at all, does he? He's going to go off, and then he's okay now. He's running all right. He's going to come back on, I think.
Excellent. Yeah, just the initial rule of when you're getting physio treatment, you've got to go off for a little bit.
Matt Wazard turns on a sixpence and level the penalty area, crosses in low, header by Danny Newton across the goal, flashes across the goal. It was well wide in the end. Also, that man Dan Turner was involved. In fact, he may have got the header, and again, another danger sign there for Scunthorpe. Yeah, absolutely. Again, Matt Watson looking a real handful. This time he switched to the right-hand side, turned on a sixpence, put a real fizzing ball across, having put Denton under pressure. Thankfully, the header, sort of both, as you say, both Turner and Newton diving for it at the same time. Got a lot on it, but not direct to the goal yet. Went well wide of Fitzsimmons' right-hand post, thankfully. Brackley 0, Scunthorpe 1. Around about 10 minutes to go. Matt Wazza here is dispossessed by Butterfield, who does brilliantly to try to find Whitehall, but the ball was just beyond him. Moram Hadzi gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, who clears it. It doesn't get much distance on it, though. Very high, as high as these almost these single strand floodlights here, with the lights beaming down onto this bowling green surface. You have to say the surface is immaculate here at St James Park. Good to play football, both very good footballing sides, of course. Into Matt Wazza. How many times have I mentioned his name? Back it goes. Little ball into the middle, trying to find Turner, who's up with alongside Danny Newton now, very much in a forward position, as Brackley here desperately seek this equaliser. It's out there for a it's offside, and the goalkeeper Ross Fitzsimmons will come up and take this one. Yes, and he's in no rush to do so, I'm happy to say. Another offside flag came at a good moment there, but it wasn't controversial. Newton was offside by 5 or 6 yards. As soon as he's seen the linesman's flags on this near side come up, he didn't complain, didn't run for the through ball there, and hopefully it's an opportunity for the Iron to get a little bit higher up the pitch here. There is Fitzsimmons, but this time he doesn't get his lines quite right. Pumps the ball far too forward for Danny Elliott, so it will be a goal kick there. I'm going to have to put you on Canvey Island watch.
Yes, absolutely.
If you can get us a latest score there, because again, the BBC, the brilliant BBC Sport website, has given me all the latest scores apart from all the ones in the FA Cup.
I'm very happy to say that at Braintree, with 8 minutes to go, it's still Braintree Town 0, Canvey Island 1. They've got 8 minutes of normal time left down there in Essex. So as things stand, we'd be heading for Scunthorpe versus Canvey Island tie, but I suspect there's going to be plenty of
time here, and it's on the right of the box. Danny Elliott comes back, and it's a shoulder barge onto the Brackley player. And the referee says that was fair, and it's a goal kick as well.
Excellent defending from Danny Elliott. You know, I'd have been pleased with that defending from a centre half, let alone from a, you know, basically a striker who's playing on the wing, who's then backing, really mucking in, and yeah. There was a few appeals, I'd say, from the Brackley supporters behind that goal for a free kick, but nothing from their players. And referees certainly not interested.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. What I liked about that, Tyler Little didn't complain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair challenge.
Yeah, referee signal for a goal kick straight away, and as you say, good strength from Elliott and good defending.
Butterfield here gets it to Elliott. Again, left-hand side, then cuts in. Level with the penalty area, tries to get his cross away, but Lazar is there. Back to dispossess him. And Elliott, well, he could be hard done by there. He's protested his innocence, but it's a free kick against him, and Brackley get it away. Right-hand side. Bounces once, the keeper has to come out of his box, and he kicks the ball away. Now, Danny Newton left a foot in there, and Ross Fitzsimmons is rolling on the floor in agony, and it's a yellow card to Danny Newton. And he may find himself fortunate there that didn't turn to red.
Yes, I think I would go along with that. You know, it's a really good clearance from Fitzsimmons under pressure. He's got good distance on his left foot. Newton knew what he was doing there. He's obviously got a goalkeeper that's already taken a knock. He's got Scunthorpe who've made 3 substitutions, and I think he's thought, right, I'm going to get stuck into him here. At the National League North level, even though it's an FA Cup second qualifying round replay, it probably is a yellow card. If that had been the Champions League, for example, I suspect it would have been a red card and a 3-month prison sentence.
Yes.
But luckily...
Yeah. No, wasn't that bad, but yes. If VAR was here, I think he may be having an early shower.
But luckily, Fitzsimmons is up, he's OK, and he's getting ready to, albeit rather slowly, take the resulting free kick.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons will take this outside of his box by half a yard onto the right-hand side, so right-footed towards the D of the Brackley box, and it's all the way to Danny Lewis, who bowls it out straight away.
You may well have heard there another substitution from Brackley. O'Sullivan, number 18, the midfielder, has been substituted off it. James Armson at number 12. As we said, the PA doesn't speak very often here, but when they do,
we listen. We definitely have to take one headphone off when he talks. Here we are, right-hand side. It's Whitehall who was chasing it. That's going to be a lost cause, though, is it? But no, it doesn't go out for a goal kick. In fact, Brackley get it down the left-hand flank as we look at it from the main stand here. This just 5 or 6. Oh, they're giving it away here. Brackley, poor pass, and suddenly Butterfield, edge of the box. He takes one, takes on 2, gets his shot away, but it comes off the backside of one of the Brackley players, and now they go on the counter-attack here, and quickly they're into the Scunthorpe half. Right-hand side here, coming up to the penalty area. There is Matt Wazzer, who takes up the charge now, and then passes it back to Little, the Brackley fullback. Back into McHale, Turner rather, and then it's into Murrumbadze. Brackley go backwards and then they go forward again. Level the penalty area now on the far side, and they're going to try and get a cross in. It was a cross-come shot, but it's dealt with by Will Evans, who just gets his boot on it and hits it first time. And then after a ricochet off a Brackley player, it hits, it's kicked out again for a throw-in to Brackley. 10 yards inside their own half here, dead centre, still 1-0 to Scunthorpe in the FA Cup. They've now got, let me say a foot in the third round qualifying round. At the moment, that could be Canvey Island of the Isthmian League Premier Division, but some 10 minutes to go there as well in their game against Braintree Town, and 10 minutes to go here. Murrumbadze. into the middle here. Suddenly the play has almost been played in slow motion here, really slowing the game down. And Brackley here looking for one last hurrah here, and they come down the left-hand side into the box. Header, shot! Oh, it's in! It's a goal to Brackley. And it was, on the half volley, it ricocheted off a Scunthorpe player, and it's in the back, and it's Tyler Little who's got the goal for Brackley. And it is all square here at St James's Park. It is now Brackley 1, Scunthorpe 1.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's been coming for most of the second half. They got in the left-hand side, put a good cross into the back post, and as you would have heard there, queuing up there was number 15, Tyler Little, catches it on the half volley with his right foot. I've sung his praises all night, but I perhaps wonder if Ross Fitzsimmons will maybe be a little bit frustrated with that. He's got a touch to it, but he hasn't been able to keep out. It's crept into the corner, and it is now well and truly game on here in Northamptonshire, 1-1.
Yes, Little found himself unmarked, didn't he, at the back stick, and almost hit it on the half volley. Fitzsimmons stretched an arm out, but couldn't get to it, and it nestled into the bottom corner. So that's where we are, and we've only got 5 minutes of normal time here, and then we could be into we will be into added on time. We've had plenty of substitutions. So could this go into injury time and the dreaded penalties? At the moment, we hope this is settled from a Scunthorpe point of view in the 90. Here is the man who can make it happen there, Jacob Butterfield. And he's outpossessed, though, by Murrumbadze. And now they come forward again, but good work there by Finn Shrimpton, who takes the ball off the Brackley player and makes things happen here. Charging down the right-hand side, but it's out for a throw-in into the final third, far side here, and Scunthorpe will have the throw. And you just thought, well, it's hearts in mouth time now, isn't it? As you rightly said, it was coming because they had enough possession, Brackley, and they looked dangerous going forward in that final third.
Yeah, absolutely. On the balance of play, it was hard to argue about that, to be honest. Fitzsimmons, he kept absolutely everything out, except in the end, the pressure had told.
Oh, and this is a chance here for Whitehall. He's inside the box. Two players have to come across and take the ball off him. He's protesting that it was clean by Brackley, and now they're on the counter-attack. Into the middle it goes. Back Hale with it. And he gets the ball back onto the left-hand side. And now Brackley come again, level with the penalty area. They're looking for a winner. There's a cross towards the penalty area towards Newton. It's headed away, though, by Will Evans, the giant centre-back for Scunthorpe. Only as far, though, as the left-hand side. Into the box it goes. Newton slips, comes off his knees. But the referee saw a push or a shove in the box and gives the free kick to Scunthorpe here. Now Scunthorpe really start to live dangerously here in the FA Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a Brackley player who's gone down here with perhaps a bit of cramp. His teammate Newton is very keen to sort of rectify that situation. The Brackley physio doesn't yet appear to have come on, but I don't think Scunthorpe will be devastated with the fact that Brackley player's gone down with cramp here, just to try and relax for another 30 seconds. But you know, the Iron won't want Brackley's momentum to be endless now. You know, we've got to try and get a grip on the ball. It's fine trying to dig in and see the game out if you can keep that clean sheet. Well, very obviously we haven't, and we're now in a situation whereby we don't want it to be just Brackley pushing for the winner. We want to find a winner now, be it in normal time or, if needed, heaven forbid, in extra time.
Well, we might find out very soon how much is going to be added on. Now, is that what he's putting up there? Because there's no way we can see that from this distance. We might hear over the PA system in a second. In the meantime, Whitehall tries to outfox Murrumbadze, but Murrumbadze comes away with it. The central midfielder for Brackley. And now they're flowing forward again. Edge of the box. 9 minutes added on at the end of the game. 9 minutes here. So still time for one of these sides to book their place in the third round qualifying of the FA Cup.
I mean, that is a lot. A bit like watching the Premier League.
We had a lot of subs. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say we have had subs. We've had two,
6.
We've had 2 different injuries to Fitzsimmons.
Yes.
We've had the goal for Brackley as well. We've had at least a couple of missing footballs.
Yes, we've had that. We've had Tyler Denton down for a few minutes. So yeah, maybe that's about right. So there is time here. And Brackley have the throw, 15 yards inside their own half. Far side as we look at it from the main stand here towards the east side of the ground. Oh, and then that's headed backwards. It's only Danny Elliott, but he's isolated. He's on his own. Now he's got support from Whitehall and Finn Strimpton, edge of the box. Then the ball goes backwards towards the halfway line. Going backwards to come forward here. Strimpton has it again. Right-hand side now. And oh, there's a foul there. And he Calder it was, who took out his man. And there'll be a free kick here to Scunthorpe.
Yeah, and a yellow card there for Calder as well. It's right on the right-hand side touchline for the Iron, maybe 2 or 3 yards in front of the 18-yard box. Good opportunity to put a good ball into the box here.
Certainly is. It's going to be Denton is who's going to take it. It's a yard or 2 outside the box yet, nearer about 15 yards from the line. And he's going to whip this one in. Men in the box, the 2 centre-backs are up, headed away by Brackley, but then it's picked up by Whitehall. Plays it back, then a shot in, oh, and it's headed. Well, it was a Brackley man who headed the ball out wide, and he had to really, because that was goal-bound from Butterfield. But in the end, he had to intercept, and it's wide of his goal, and a corner here for Scunthorpe. Yep. Butterfield is over to take to it. The captain's going to take this one as the wind still swirls around here at St James's Park in the FA Cup. 1-1, 6 minutes left of the game. Butterfield then, edge of the 6-yard box, headed towards goal, but into the arms of Danny Lewis in the middle of his goal, and he tries to bowl it away quickly. Opportunity there for Scunthorpe.
Yeah, it was a really good ball in. It looked like Boyce had got the header on it, but they're going to have to defend now.
Matt Wazza, edge of the box, cuts inside into Newton. Oh, he tries to get the ball in, but Matt Wazza comes back, and oh, Fitzsimmons has to go low and save that. That would have trickled into the back of the net if Ross Fitzsimmons hadn't got down quickly and just poured that away around his post. And that was so close there for Brackley, but great save by Ross Fitzsimmons. Corner here to Brackley. In it goes, edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Will Evans, only as far as Murrumbadze. Calder, edge of the box again here, Brackley. It's swinging one way or the other, this game now, with 5 minutes to go. Away again by Brackley. But they're not, they do get it out right in front of the dugout. The dugout was really animated, wasn't it? The Scunthorpe dugout a few minutes ago. They're just watching on now with hands in pockets, just wondering which way this game's going to go. And both managers have played their cards really in terms of substitutions.
Oh, the referees give a foul throw there against Scunthorpe. Oh, they're unforgivable. In Bell's Britain, punishable by imprisonment.
Yes, another...
So frustrating.
Ultimately fair. Yeah, any level of the game, at Sunday League level, it's
absolutely
unacceptable, isn't it?
You're deep into injury time. It's 1-1. You're under the pump. Please don't make silly errors.
Well, we haven't got a clock in the ground, but I would estimate around 4 minutes left on this game, and then we may go into extra time here, 15 minutes each way, and then I'm not going to say the P word at this point. I'm not. My heart can't take it.
Not yet. We've got to defend first.
Yeah, they have to defend because they're coming forward again. Brackley, he gets onto his left foot. He's going to get shot away. But he plays in Calder, who's come up from his left-back position. Again, edge of the box here, Brackley. Looking for a little chink in the Scunthorpe armour. Here's McHale who gets the shot away, comes off Will Evans, corner to Brackley. Will Evans just hunched shoulders, head down, and that might give a little indication how they're feeling back there, because they've come really into the cost. They've had to work so hard, haven't they, the Scunthorpe defence here, Max Bell?
Yeah, particularly Evans, obviously, who's had to do 90 minutes, but yeah, they've got to try and see this out now.
It's a short corner. Oh, it's flicked towards goal. And Fitzsimmons has to come out unorthodox. He just puts his body in the way. And Brackley nearly flicked that into the goal, but now we've got a counter-attack. And now it's Whitehall who's coming forward. And he's got Jenkins on his shoulder. And Jenkins with a shot off the bar. Oh, and the keeper was fully stretched, Danny Lewis. And Jenkins, the Leeds United loanee, crashes it off the bar. And we still play on here. 2 minutes to go of normal time. 9 minutes added on, don't forget. How close can you get? Brackley on the counter. This is an incredible game of football we're watching here. We get the ball onto the right. Here's Newton, cuts inside, dealt well, really well in fact, by Tyler Denton, who's been really useful there in that wing-back position. He's had a good game. And it's all the way back to Danny Lewis in the Brackley goal. Matt Wazza calls for it, gets the ball from Murrumbadze in the centre. And then Wazza goes forward, plays in Newton, edge of the box. And he cuts inside, he gets a shot away! Oh, what a goal! Incredible strike to win this FA Cup tie, and it's Danny Newton with a worldie from 25 yards, and it's the underside of the crossbar. Ross Fitzsimmons at full stretch could do nothing to keep it out, and that could be the winner. And it's Danny Newton who breaks Scunthorpe's hearts. It's Brackley 2, Scunthorpe United 1.
What a strike, an absolute screamer. And 25, if not maybe even 28 yards underside of the bar. Fitzsimmons could have done nothing about that. And when we asked the question as to about whether or not that 9 minutes of stoppage time could have an impact, my word, it did. Jenkins for the iron crashes the bar, and it comes back out, but at the other end of the pitch it crashes the underside of the bar and it's in, and it's breaking Scunthorpe hearts here. If we've got 90 seconds left of this injury time, that's all we've got. Yeah, and it's Brackley 2, the iron 1.
90 seconds on the clock. Scunthorpe have to do something remarkable here to keep themselves in the FA Cup for the 23-24 season. They led, don't forget, midway through the first half. Brilliant goal, low drive from Danny Elliott. But now Scunthorpe have come from behind and 2-1 up. A minute left, referee checks his watch. And suddenly they're going forward, but they give away the ball again. And here come Brackley in the middle with that man Newton. Plays it into the middle to Murrumbadze, and now Brackley happy just to pass the ball around here in their own half.
I have to say now Scunthorpe look tired. Just when you need them to really press them, really try and win the ball back, because you've got 60 seconds left. And perhaps that was a little bit there in the middle of the park as well. You know, they didn't press Newton really. They've either unwillingly or willingly gone, OK, you can have a dig from here. And you know, you wouldn't expect him to score from that kind of distance, especially not that spectacular, but he has.
Oh, Madwazi is through, but the linesman puts his flag up. That could have been goal 3 because he was right through there. Again, was involved.
That was tired defending from the iron there. There was 2 of them waiting for one of them to go, and in the end Matt Watson nips in and they get lucky with the offside.
Whitehall with the header, back it across the D of the Brackley box. Dealt with by that man again, Murrumbadze. Oh, and now he's broken through, and this could be good night Vienna for Scunthorpe. He's down, and it's a penalty! Penalty to Brackley. And it was Will Evans who just brought his man down. It was a tired, lethargic challenge, and he may get a red card here as well, because he was the last man back, Will Evans, on McHale. And now what we must be seconds away from the added on 9, and this will be the last kick of the game, surely. And McHale, who was upended by Will Evans, puts the ball on the spot. Second penalty of the game for Brackley. They miss one, well, Fitzsimmons saved, and it's in! McHale low into the bottom corner, and that really is it now for Scunthorpe. McHale with the goal, as Max rightly says, Scunthorpe looking lethargic now and tired. They got hands on hits, and their FA Cup dream is over here. Brackley have done a job on them, and it's now Brackley 3, Scunthorpe 1.
Yeah, that was very tired defending, not just from Evans in terms of bringing the man down. I have to say, I thought that was a penalty. I thought he clipped him. Evans received a yellow card, not a red, due to the double jeopardy rule with him being in the penalty area. You know, they got the goal scoring opportunity. But even there for the penalty, you know, the Scunthorpe players weren't jogging back or getting ready on the edge of the box, trying to fish for the rebound. You know, 5 or 6 of them were on the halfway line there. Scunthorpe have gone here, mentally, physically. A really, really disappointing end to the game here for the Iron.
I think Scunthorpe here just won the final whistle to blow, but fair play. Danny Elliott is chasing the ball here in the corner. He's helped here by Whitehall, and Elliott comes away with it. And it's a tackle, sliding tackle from Brackley. And now they're going to get the ball away. Referee again looks at his watch. He's going to blow any second. And on the counter again, here come Brackley. And it's that goal scorer, Danny Newton, the bearded Danny Newton, who decides to play the ball all the way back to his goalkeeper. In fact, he had to deal with that one. Danny Lewis, it was almost a shot in the end. He had to chest it down. And the referee still allowing play to go on. Brackley 3, Scunthorpe 1 in the FA Cup. And there's going to be no game against Canvey Island or Braintree Town, because that is the final whistle. It's all over here. Our FA Cup odyssey has ended here for Scunthorpe United. They took the lead in this one. They've lost 3-1. They took the lead through Danny Elliott halfway through the first half. But then they missed a penalty, didn't they, Brackley, through Danny Newton. And then he came back to haunt them a little bit later, 5 minutes before time, with a thunderbolt shot. And before that, it was Tyler Little who put Brackley ahead 2-1 with a goal on the back stick. And let's get the final thoughts here of Max Bell from the Iron Hour podcast.
A really disappointing end to that game. The Iron were 1-0 up with 4/5 minutes of normal time remaining. There are no circumstances in which you should then go on to lose that game 3-1. It was really deep into the 9 minutes of injury time signalled when an absolute thunderbolt from Danny Newton won the game. The Iron had hit the bar with Jenkins just 60 seconds prior. Really disappointing, and you could see at the end there, I thought the Iron went. Their heads dropped. Our multi-year wait for winning a cup game of any description carries on. Really disappointing. You know, the really faithful Iron fans behind that goal who've travelled down to Northamptonshire will be spared a trip to Essex, shall we say. But you know, when you're talking about winning games, trying to focus on the on-field matters, not let the off-field issues distract you, it's a really disappointing defeat there for the Iron.
It certainly is, after such an entertaining game at Glanford Park on Saturday, where Scunthorpe just edged it. They were the better side, and they probably had the first 45 minutes here, but certainly they didn't have the second. Brackley just threw hammer and tongs at them, and they've come away from the 3-1 winners. Scunthorpe with shoulders drop, heads down, walk up to the tunnel on the right-hand side. All the Brackley supporters behind the goal clapping their players, who are taking the applause. And also lots of high fives for Danny Newton after a worldie of a goal. So it's not to be for Scunthorpe. Chris, it's ended here. Brackley Town 3, Scunthorpe United 1.
Thanks very much for the commentary tonight. What a miserable night then for Scunthorpe United. And astonishingly, that's not even the story of their night, is it? An FA Cup defeat at Brackley by 3-1. With 86 minutes gone, they led. And then it all went horribly wrong. But the big story tonight concerning Scunthorpe United concerns the owner and chairman, David Hilton. He has put the club up for sale. He says he will continue financing it, but he's put it up for sale with immediate effect. At his request last Friday, one of the directors, that's Keith Waters, offered his resignation and has been removed from the board of directors immediately. The remainder of the board are committed to the club. There's been one winding up petition served today. He says there is another one likely to come from HMRC, and there are county court judgments as well. So the full statement, which is a lengthy read, is on the Scunthorpe United website. We've tweeted that out as well. Now, plenty of other games tonight as well as we approach 10 o'clock, just to round up all the scores. In the Champions League, Feyenoord 2, Celtic 0, still playing in that one. Likewise, Lazio 0, Atletico Madrid 1, still playing in stoppage time there. AC Milan 0, Newcastle 0 is a result. In the other game in their group, Paris Saint-Germain 2, Borussia Dortmund 0, still playing there. Young Boys 1, Leipzig 3. Manchester City 3, Red Star Belgrade 1, still playing at the Etihad. Barcelona 5, Antwerp 0, still playing there. And FC Porto 3-1 up against Shakhtar Donetsk. Now, domestically, in the Championship, Bristol City 4, Plymouth Argyle 1, Cardiff City 3, Coventry City 2, Preston North End 2, Birmingham City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Swansea City 1, Southampton 0, Ipswich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Middlesbrough 1. That is a latest score. In League 1, Barnsley 2, Portsmouth 3, Peterborough 3, Cheltenham 0, Port Vale 2, Burton Albion 3. In the EFL Trophy, some big scores here. Morecambe 0, Liverpool 3. Sutton United 2, Aston Villa 2. That's gone to penalties. Wycombe 1, Crystal Palace 0. Colchester 0, Tottenham Hotspur 5. Leyton Orient 2, Fulham 2. Leyton Orient 1 on penalties. Oxford 0, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Exeter City 0, Reading 9. N-I-N-E, as the old video printer used to say. Exeter 0, Reading 9. Bristol Rovers 1, West Ham 3. Wigan Athletic 7, S-E-V-E-N, Leicester City 1. Derby 2, Lincoln 0. Doncaster 2, Everton 0. Shrewsbury 0, Brighton 0. Shrewsbury won that one on penalties. In the National League, these are all results. Altrincham 2, Hartlepool 2, Barnet 2, Aldershot 1, Boreham Wood 1, Rochdale 1, Chesterfield 3, FC Halifax 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Bromley 1, Dorking 3, Wealdstone 1, Eastleigh 2, Oxford City 2, Gateshead 3, Kidderminster 0, Oldham 2, York 0, Solihull Moors 2, Fylde 1, Southend 2, Maidenhead United 0, and Woking 1, Ebbsfleet 1. Well, that's about it for BBC Radio Humberside Sport for this evening. A very, very disappointing night as far as Scunthorpe United are concerned, with knocked out of the FA Cup and seemingly some turmoil again around the club, with the owner, David Hilton, having put it up for sale. It wasn't that long ago that he bought it from the previous owner, David Swan. There'll be more on that in Breakfast on BBC Radio Humberside tomorrow morning. We hope for some reaction as well tonight from Jimmy Dean to the game. As soon as we do get that, if we do get any, then it will be available on our social media outlets and also on BBC Sound. So hopefully that is going to be coming up before too long tonight. But a miserable night for Scunthorpe, an absolute horror show, leading, as I say, until the 86th minute, and then all went horribly wrong, crashing out of the FA Cup. And let's not forget that Brackley had also missed a penalty in the second half. They equalised, then they scored again, and then they went and got that penalty, which took them through to the third qualifying round. They will be playing in that either Braintree Town or Canvey Island. That one has gone to extra time. Braintree equalised with virtually the last kick of the game of that in the 8th minute of stoppage time. They left it very, very late. Brackley Town didn't leave it quite as late, but a miserable night all round for the Iron. It's going to be a miserable trip home for the team and the supporters. More football tomorrow evening on BBC Radio Humberside. We've got full commentary from the MKM Stadium. One of the games of the season always for the Tigers. Hull City against Leeds United, and as part of the build-up to that, which starts at 6 o'clock in Sports Talk, we'll be hearing much more from that interview that Mike White has done with the Vice Chair of Hull City about transfers and all manner of things. But from me, Chris Cooper, a very good evening, and hope yours has been better than Scunthorpe United's.